Ladies and gentlemen, people of the world, thank you for joining us. We are here with a special episode of a review of a movie called Unhung Hero. And I have two guests here with me for the first time ever on the Meta A podcast. We got Sarvitz.
Hey.
How you doing, man? And a returning guest, Hell Pockets.
Hey, I'm like a regular fixture in here at this point.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
feels good to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this movie that I was talking to you guys earlier that I wanted to bring you guys on for very specific reasons. And for one is because obviously we're all very mature adults, right? And,
Absolutely.
And obviously this movie is impossible to relate to because it's about a small penis and I just don't. You know. I know. Sorry, we talked about it.
They're gonna dive right.
This is very hard to relate to.
My name's Patrick Moot. I live in Los Angeles, and apparently, I have a small penis.
This is definitely an imagination exercise. You know?
Yeah.
This is like totally like exercising my empathy like the entire time.
Yeah.
You're like, am I a crazy person? Can I have empathy? Is it possible to put myself in somebody else's shoes?
It's all about creativity.
Yeah, exactly. So like a really short synopsis of the movie is basically some guy finds out that he has a small penis because his girl, when he proposes to her at a like a basketball stadium event or something, they put him on like the Jumbotron and all that stuff.
So far, so good, but man.
Yeah, sounds great, right?
It started out all right.
I was like, oh man, especially for him, he's like, this is really working out for me. They got me on the Jumbotron. They're gonna let me propose to my girl.
Oh man,
I'm ready. So they put him on the Jumbotron. He proposes, and the girl like turns away, and she says no, and it embarrasses the dude in front of everybody. And you know what's funny too is that they had like a host or something, right? There's
yes.
Like this
there's some lady with a mic, and she
didn't
the
say
house mic was live.
Oh, for me, it was the part when she actually ran away. Though I was like, oh shit.
What if she just stayed there and said no? Let's enjoy the game. Like the rest
Where
of the
did
game.
Sometimes we get a little camera shy. I understand. It happens.
Oh, painful. Clearly not the response that he was expecting.
How are you gonna watch the rest of the fucking game after that?
But it's okay. Some areas like are good to run. Like it fits in with running, but a stadium is so large. You gotta like, what are you gonna do?
But that's true. Like, what if she like gets to the exit and there's just like a fat line to the bathroom that's like blocking the exit? So he's like walking around hella dejected and shit, and he sees her just fucking pissed stuck at like the tunnel.
Well,
He's like, "You sure?"
The whole stadium saw it go down too. What if she walks by him there like, we saw?
How embarrassing!
They all knew, dude.
Oh, how embarrassing! And then also, I'd like to add that so that video from that encounter went viral.
Yeah.
And it got 10 million views in 4 days.
Yeah.
So it's like, could you imagine like getting rejected, and then not only do you have to hold that, the entire world is laughing at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much more to the story that we didn't find out, and we're here to discuss that. You know.
Exactly. So, basically, the movie literally opens with him in another country about to shoot up some fucking liquid into his dick. Right? Like,
yes.
It literally opens like that. And you're like, it's that moment of like, how did we get here? How the fuck are we here after this proposal? Right?
Jeez.
And he ends up revealing later that he wasn't fully aware that he had a small dick and that it mattered that much, and that was the reason why, ultimately, the reason that she gave, that's why she decided to not take the proposal.
What a bummer.
And I have to say, that's gotta be, I don't know what else could possibly just destroy your ego, especially if you don't know that that's the problem, right?
Right. How would you not know that that's the problem though? That could be a factor. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
The thing though is like, I would say there's this movie's about a lot of things, right? That is not necessarily on the surface, but I think one of the biggest things was about just overall growth. And like as children,
Or lack
like
of
as
growth.
children, right?
Lack
As
of growth.
kids, I'm going somewhere with this, I promise.
Okay.
As children, you grow up thinking almost like everything's okay, right? And the only
Right.
way you really grow is when you learn shit's not okay. And you're just kind of like, oh man, like my world is shattered. Like, how do I deal with this, right? And so for
Yeah.
him, like he'd been going through his whole life thinking like, oh man, like some people have said it's small, but I got a girlfriend and she loves me. I'm gonna ask her to marry me.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal, right? And then she's like, no, it is a big deal, bro.
Yeah.
I've just been being nice to you all this time, but
That's
I'm not
yeah.
marrying you. So he's
Just not-
like, he's
Go
coming
ahead.
out of his cocoon at that point. He's just like, oh shit, he's getting hit with the cold water, and he's like being like, introduced to this whole new way of thinking that he hadn't. You can tell he had never even been on this like spectrum before.
Yeah, his worldview was completely disassembled. I think at that point,
Yeah.
everything that a person thinks they are, like you can take these hard turns into a different direction by coming into new knowledge. But I mean, that would be so heavy to know that it was only that.
Yeah, right.
But
Like, fuck, dude.
wouldn't you suspect
That's it?
though that it wasn't?
Say again?
Wouldn't you suspect that that's not all it was, but that's all she told him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's rewind it, at least as far as his timeline goes, where, he goes to the point where he goes back home, talks to his mom and his dad and his brother, and he meets up with his friends, and they have that little, hidden, like that what do they call it in MTV?
Confessional.
A confessional.
Like that
There we
confessional
go.
shit. Yeah.
A confessional.
Yeah, his mom and his dad. Like, well, first when he tells his mom, I don't know if y'all remember, but he was crying, crying,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I felt so bad for the guy, And then the dad reveals to him in this like disc 3 type moment of his life. It's just like, well, son, I guess I wasn't quite the dad that I wanted to be to you, but yeah, I also have a small one. Maybe it's hereditary.
Bearing on heredity?
I don't know, does it?
Yeah, but his dad also said, "I go for mine."
But I'll tell you what, when the time comes, I'm just shocked at how adequate I do become.
Yeah.
How do you think you got here?
That motherfucker was so nice looking. Like he talked like a total square, but he was like, yeah, I fucking lay that shit down in the bedroom.
He did. He said it in the most like unexpected kind of way. He's just like, listen, son, I go for mine, and you need to go for yours.
And his parents actually seemed pretty cool, man. Like the way they were talking to him, they were really comforting, and they were like, hey, listen, it's not that big of a deal. Like, there's plenty of girls out there, and I'm sure you'll find somebody. And obviously, that's that situation where your parents are trying to tell you shit that's good for you, but as a son or a daughter or son, whatever, it's difficult for a younger person to really take advice at face value, especially from like a parent, in a situation like this, because you think they're just trying to comfort you. Mm-hmm. And you don't know how much of it is true and how much of it is comfort.
Right. Because you get this impression that someone's trying to protect you, and that they might not be giving you the whole truth,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd imagine he went there for that. He went there immediately after this to get that kind of protection, that boost or that loving affection he needed, not only from his family but from his friends. And he was just like really enjoying himself. And in the middle of it, he was like, let's see what they really think,
Yeah, and do you remember his mom said when he revealed that the reason that she rejected him, I think the mom was just like, oh dear, really?
Yeah. Like the last thing on her mind is like dick problems?
Yeah. The mom CPU was like overclocked at that moment. Like, fuck, how do I handle this one? This is unexpected, especially there's a film crew there too, and it's just like, wow, man. But yeah, this movie was very interesting, and let's get deep into this discussion, so to speak.
All right, so after that situation where he goes to the party and they have that confessional, and at least one of the girls reveals that she slept with him, and she doesn't even remember, which is really weird to say.
Yeah,
There's a lot of moments like that in this movie.
Yeah, there really is. And do you remember that also? It was unbeknownst to her that she actually took his virginity. She's like, I don't remember that.
But apparently I took his virginity. So
yeah,
that's
all right, so you know what? Like, immediately what I thought when I heard that was like they probably made out, but he told everybody they fucked.
Yeah.
And then like he said, but don't tell anybody that we fucked because we're trying to keep it low or something like that. And then like maybe a year later they told her like, so did you fuck Todd? And she's like, oh no.
You think she forgot to lie? She's like, wait a minute, what was I supposed to say?
Exactly, right? Well, she was probably just like, damn, dude, like I thought we just made up. You've been telling everybody we've been fucking. Damn, like that ruined my reputation.
Yeah, that's bad. And also, do not forget when he went to tell his parents about it. He got up with his brother and they went in the attic and found some ancient rejection letters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there was a woman that was like, yeah, sorry you saw me walking with some other dude. So it's like he's getting hit with all these revelations that are based on his insecurities. And it could have been for any other reason, but in his mind, I feel like he's slowly uncovering the pieces of the small dick puzzle, like one at a time.
Is it a big puzzle? Is it a big puzzle? Is it complicated?
It's like the Triforce or something. He's
It
like,
is
holy shit,
complicated, though. It is complicated though, because he's like when you first, what's this guy's name again? Because I keep wanting to call him Topher Grace, because it's just like dude from fucking like that.
Yeah, you're right.
But like Ben or something. I don't know.
Ben or something like that. So Ben, we'll just call him that. You know, when you first see him, like in the first 20 minutes, you don't get the impression that this guy is a dude that really cares a lot about his dick, you know?
Right.
Like, he just seems like he's more just like chill, or he's a comedian, right? So he's used to self-deprecating himself.
I also noticed that was really important for me to acknowledge that his humor was really self-deprecating, which tells me a lot of other things because it foreshadows a lot of shit.
So like I think maybe in the back of his mind he had been dealing with not just his dick, but like, you know, several, you know, insecurity issues all his life.
Yeah.
And he just was like, I'm gonna be a comedian in LA. Fuck it.
Right.
That's all I can do.
He did. Yeah. He moved from his farm and little small world to be a comedian. And, you know, to think that all of these insecurities, but you have the cherry on top, which is like, oh man, if you got insecurities, say hello to the small penis, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? A little friend right there, dude. Like the shit was like that dude literally had all the ammo, dude, for like being like the next top comic.
Being that guy. And you know, it's that moment where maybe someone wants to try and help and be a lover, be a friend, and just be like, holy shit, yeah, this is a small ass dick. I'm starting to understand, like, maybe it's not just this, but for this person, he made a movie about it.
Yeah.
Like voluntarily, he's the one that he went to his friends about this, right?
A total confrontation. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I want to make the movie.
He pretty much just, I guess, rolled with it, which I guess is kind of like a very comedian thing to do in general, I guess.
Sure.
Think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did eventually go to the streets and start asking people out there what they thought about like penis size and stuff, and telling them about like how the girl didn't say yes in the proposal. And, that was pretty funny too. That's interesting.
He fucked up when he went to San Francisco, dude. Like the moment I saw him, I was like, oh man, come on. Like I knew he was gonna get a healthy mix of like, you know, a support and, you know, education. But if he went out at night, he was gonna catch that dirty shit, man. Like, and he hit Castro, and I was like, nah, man, they only like big dicks out there.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of weird out there for him to fit in. You know,
true.
He looks like a really weird dude.
He actually would fit in perfectly around here, but I think for what he was looking for, like, and when you're making a documentary like this, you have to go and examine all edges of the spectrum there. And he just went to the extreme on that side, because there's always that little, at least when we're in the topic we're talking about, there's always that group of people that are going to say, yeah, you need a big dick. And like that one dude's like, you ain't got a big dick, kill yourself.
Yeah, he's just like, just die. He's like, just die.
Yeah. And then he tried
And
to
then-
laugh. And he's like, "Nah, seriously, man."
Yeah, he cut off his laughter. He's like, stop. And I like so that guy's boyfriend, one of the funniest things about it was the smile on that guy's boyfriend's face. He's just like, I'm gonna let my boyfriend do the talking, but yeah, I'm gonna back you up. But one thing I really enjoyed about the movie is how there's like the progression, right? So it's almost like he goes to different stages. Like you got to remember, after he talked to his mom and dad, then he visited his pediatrician.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, that's right.
That's some wild shit, dude. Like, can you visit your pediatrician? Like, either one of you guys?
No,
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, I don't know who it is.
I wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah.
They're probably not alive too.
Who's to say that if he's alive or they're alive, that they're even still practicing, that they even still remember you, that they have your files and all, you know, like what if that, like, that was like, wow.
When the doctor's like the family friend and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what would be the worst is if, what would be the worst is if the pediatrician is like, oh man, it's you, the small dick motherfucker. What's up?
I remember you.
But the pediatrician made a really good point about the way people interpret their own body and said that back in the days, like when that person was a child, is that more people, like you'd be at camp or in high school, and people would shower together, and you know you'd have this kind of like body awareness by checking, you know, looking at other people, looking at yourself, and he's saying how that doesn't really exist anymore, and that reminded me of being in school because I think when we were all coming up, we were probably in the last days of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember being in the shower after gym class and so on. Like when I was locked up as a little kid, like they sent me to this boys camp because I used to skip school a lot. So we were all in the shower and there was this one kid in there who had the biggest nuts you've ever seen in your fucking life, bro. And like, if you picture some big nuts, multiply that shit by 2, and we used to clown the hell out of them.
Exposed, damn.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just, it was mind blowing because everyone's just like, dude, what's up with your nuts, bro?
It's a glandular problem.
That is a really good point though, because it's like nowadays, boys or men don't really know they can't really compute in their heads what's an average size, right? Like, especially
absolutely.
amongst their peers. You know, imagine a world where you think everybody else is packing except you. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of what this movie is about, is like a magnified version of anyone's insecurities.
Yeah,
you know, and it was a very interesting movie to watch. Like I think about what is going on in this person's mind, you know, and it's a journey that I feel like any person with a penis may have thought about at some point, but I've never really considered like that it can affect somebody that much, you know. And I don't have a large penis, like at all.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, you're on your own. I told you. I couldn't relate. We said that at the beginning and I meant it.
You know, but I mean, I've never had that kind of hang up, you know what I'm saying? And but to know that someone, like, I mean, someone really went through it that hard, it's like, that's fucking, like, it's really interesting viewing material for sure. And it's a lot to think about, you know. I've never thought about it in the same way as someone like this does, but it made me think that there's probably a lot more dudes out there that think about it on that level and have that much of a hang up, way more than I would have expected, despite knowing how much pressure there is to just fit in. You know what I mean?
You know, the only thing I can think of that is relatable, or feel like a lot of people can relate to, that's kind of close to this, is like how guys are about losing their virginities and talking to other dudes about it. You know, like how they'll lie about shit like that, or, you know, feel a lot of pressure and insecurity about themselves physically and sexually. Like,
Indeed.
I can 100% get that. And I feel like it's that multiplied even more because of the fact that he has a small penis, and the guy's obviously going through a lot of revelations throughout the entire course of the documentary, and it's not all entirely about his dick, even though that's the backdrop of the movie. It's a lot of shit, you know. It's the documentary is about like men's views on themselves, what pop culture has done to how people view sex and penis size and breasts and everything like that. And it's funny because he goes through all that stuff, and then in my head, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm more experienced than that guy when this movie was made, or I don't know, I'm more socially adequate, I don't know, but I felt like I could have had a really good conversation with that dude and told him what the issue is.
Indeed.
I feel like any one of us could have had that conversation with him.
Yeah. I feel like maybe his friends were letting him down by not having that convo with them at some point, because this seems like a very open person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he asked his old girlfriend, one of his old girlfriends, and she rated him a 3 out of 10. Like on a size level.
He didn't even ask him for that thing. He was all like, "What do you mean a 3?"
I know. Yeah.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
He's like,
really,
motherfucker, I'm at work right now. Hurry this up.
Yeah. He kind of made that "what you talking about" Willis face. It's like what, a 3 out of 10. And then he went to go see a urologist. And do you remember when he went in that private room and she measured his dick?
Mm-hmm.
That's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody say you have a small dick.
Yeah. And unfortunately, oh my God. And at that moment, she called him a low normal. And also a male equivalent of a female with an A cup. But here's the difference, though. Titties are titties, dude. A dick is like, a dick is not titties, bro.
Dick's gotta go to work, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really important.
I think like they actually they did a pretty good job of putting on display not just like the insecurities surrounding his dick, but just the insecurities that a lot of people have, and it's not just men, it's women also. And
Yeah,
some of these insecurities were actually put on display because there's people talking about, you know, oh well, do I have enough money? Do I have like, you know, economic status? You know, am I attractive? You know, there's like so many different insecurities that manifest in a human being. And I felt like you could find an example of that in each part of this movie, and they're not entirely related to the dick, you know?
Right, absolutely. Like I feel like when it comes to insecurities, if you have that sort of mindset, you can a la carte and just pick and choose like all these different insecurities, like no matter what it is. And I feel like if you are at that buffet, be careful not to overindulge. Like it's okay to think about things, but this person was just getting everything on a plate, just like, oh God, I'm all fucked up.
Yeah, people do that though. You know, like I think like in another universe, this movie's about a guy who wants to get like fucking 6-pack abs, but he's like fucking 7 foot tall. You know, and it's just really hard when you're that fucking tall. Or in another universe, it's about a girl who wants bigger tits, or a guy who wants to stop aging, or he wants to feel younger, so he goes after younger women. You know, it's like all sorts of shit like that, and people chase them to the extreme because they just want so badly to eliminate what's itching them at the moment. You know,
it really is. Yeah, someone wants to be on that kind of mountaintop of defeating something like that. But one thing that will be interesting about the discussion is that you can't grow a larger penis. Like it just doesn't happen.
He tries. He tries though. He definitely
tries.
Yeah, like one of the things.
He tries.
Chris, you told me that he goes to visit this one black dude, right? And he's like, "Bro,
the joking guy."
Yeah, he's like, "Bro, I got the strats, no problem." And he's like, "Jelking, dog. You ever heard of it?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Check this out, bro. Your dick is a muscle," which it is. It is not a muscle, but he's like, "Your dick is a muscle. You work that shit, you stretch it, and it gets longer. And trust me, my shit grew like 1/4 of an inch, and I'm solid now." And he's like,
"Yeah." He's like, "Now I'm just putting it down, bro."
That dude definitely didn't talk like he was putting it down. That dude talked like, "Oh my God, I hope there's some ass in this movie for me, man." Like, make sure you tag me in the credits, please.
But the funny thing,
You know his office got all sorts of cobwebs. He's like, oh God, finally,
Oh man.
the joking consultant.
Oh, I've been waiting this whole time. I've been preaching the jelking shit to my whole community, and finally somebody comes to my door.
Oh man.
It's time to shine, dude.
but-
Had those balloons all laid out, all symmetrical and shit.
I know. Oh, when you know what? Do you remember when they give him a false ID? He's like, pick. Okay, so there's all these balloons that are filled up lengthwise, and he's like, okay, so pick which kind of size you are, and they're all like, big as fuck. And he actually pranks him. He's just like, are you on the smaller end? And they're all super large. And the look on his face at that moment, I couldn't stop laughing because he's like, oh God, dude.
You know what's funny though, Chris? You mentioned something about like how these insecurities could get swapped out for another. If it's not a dick, it could be like how fat you are, it could be like how short you are, whatever. Literally all these things could be swapped out, right? And it's kind of like the 6-minute abs shit of how like he started to approach growing his dick, where it's like, hey, we got this program called 6-minute abs, and you can get abs in 6 minutes. And it sounds like bullshit, but it's gonna fucking work.
Look at this guy that's fucking ripped. He was a fat ass a week ago.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And he jumps on all those fucking types of things. He starts taking extends. He starts a penis pump fucking routine with the jelking, and he like takes it serious, dude. Like
literally doing it all.
There's like a countdown that he has of like how miserable he's getting. He's like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of growing. I can't tell. I've been staring at my dick this whole time. It kind of looks the same.
Well, hey, didn't his dick though grow like here? I have it written down, 1/8 of an inch, and it stoked him. He was like, "Oh shit, oh shit,
oh, shit. Bro, but that could just be a good day. It legit could just be a good day. I mean, we've all had good days. You know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the scary part is they told him like, hey, because like that one chick told him like, oh, you're doing jelking. Well, you better be careful because the dick's not a muscle, and you might rip your fucking tendons.
Yeah.
And you'll get a rebound effect where it just goes back into your body. Like,
way to be optimistic, lady. Damn.
I'm trying to live.
Like true self-harm. I mean, I understand the need for gains in other things. Like, okay, if you do jumping jacks, you hit the treadmill, you'll notice like, okay, hey, I feel more limber. You know what I mean? I can go longer. But the penis is precious. Like, I mean, this dude is taking extends. He visited the penis pump expert. Do you remember the penis pump expert also has like these little mini pumps for the nipples?
Milk them, man.
They actually hooked them up to him and they milked them, bro.
Milked them, dude. I was just like, he's like, what's with that juice? I'm like, dude, what do you mean, what's with that juice?
Yeah. He went to the dark side of town, man. Like he was really out there, like on a mission. You know, and
this is like the first 30 minutes of the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Was crazy about it.
Yeah, like I mean, and so he's just doing everything to try and gain size. Like he even makes a whole chart. If you remember, he puts up like post-it notes and like all these like it looked like a conspiracy theory kind of chart.
Like that Always Sunny meme where like dude's like staring at the pointing at the board. And he's like, his hair go
no, dude, he was like Russell Crowe in The Beautiful Mind. He's like, well, if I do this and then I talk to this doctor with a chance to say that it's 25%.
You know what's bullshit? Because like we already knew it was bullshit, but the bullshit was that I never knew that Extends had a helpline, and when he called it, it was exactly what I expected. When they were just like, yeah, we don't advertise that, we have a PR company that does that, and they just do whatever the fuck they want. Our product doesn't do anything. That
disappointment, like he seems so frustrated.
Yeah, dude.
That motherfucker was on the phone with Xbox Live or something. Except Xbox might try to help you. They were just like, yeah, sorry, bro, it doesn't grow your shit. We never said that. And, that's a PR thing. So talk to them.
I didn't know you could do that shit. Well, apparently you can't because they revealed later on they had to pay what? How much? Like $6 million? $6 billion?
Yeah, they lost a lawsuit, right? That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So they've been living foul for a minute, although I ain't heard from them in a long time. But at this point, like this movie actually revealed a whole industry around this that I didn't know existed, you know? Because
Likewise.
like you saw like the extends and you heard about the penis pump from Austin Powers, obviously. At least I did. And then there's that shit with who's that old commercial with Bob? They even had a little clip of it on the movie.
Smiling ass Bob.
Yeah, smiling ass Bob and shit, right? And like there's like but I thought that was it. I thought that was like, man, these guys are just some snake oil salesmen that are like gonna get bottomed out in like a couple of years. But nah, man, there's been like a totally self subsisting industry around it, because how much I think they spend like fucking $80 million, like $800 million a year on like that. And I was just like, I believe it, but I was like, damn, I didn't think there were that many companies. There was that many outlets, you know?
Dude, and I guarantee you that all that stuff started really doing super well once porn was a lot easier to get access to.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely. You know, you got Bob, smiling ass Bob, looking like a horny version of Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, what the fuck is going on there?
Shit's working out for me, bro. Maybe it could work out for you.
Right. Like, this dude was just, like, if you remember the commercials, just smiling around, walking around. And I don't think there was even chicks in the commercial. The dude's just got a big smile on his face.
Well, in the commercial, they try to make it seem like he's doing it for his wife, and his wife is happy with his, results. So, like, there was never any reason for him to, like, cause they try to divorce it from the need to please women aspect. They try to make it seem like you're a guy and you just want a big dick because guys have big dicks, you know? That's not true at all. It's just like, they're like, no, you want to fuck a lot of bitches. Like, you want to be socially acceptable.
So, hey, when it comes to, so when it comes to pills and all that, I feel like I'm not ashamed to tell this story. Check this out. So me and my girlfriend threw a house party, and someone left a backpack full of drugs at our house, right?
Sick.
Nice.
And and they're like, oh, so then he texted my girl and was like, hey, I left a backpack full of drugs there. If you guys want to have some fun, there's some Viagra in the back pocket. Give it a shot. So it's like, okay, give it a shot. So my girl shows me the text and is like, dude, let's do it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the first and last time I will ever pop one of those. Bro, this shit was, oh man. So I took one. About 15 minutes later, like, you know when you get that super real boner?
Like painful boner?
Well, like you wake up one morning and your dick's just at attention. You're like, what you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What you want? It's waking you up. Like, hey, buddy.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So we had sex once. We had sex twice. We had sex 3 times. And it would not go away. Picture me 6 hours later. My girlfriend is fucking laughing at me because my dick is just hard as fuck. And I couldn't see anymore. Like, you know when you press on your eyeballs and like you get those little patterns and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You had the dots?
Yeah, I was getting the dots and my girl's just laughing at me. I'm still naked walking around. It's just waving around. Like when I walk, every step I take, it would just wave. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I can't get rid of this. I almost called a doctor, bro. I was almost that guy. If you have a painful erection that lasts for, however many hours, call a doctor. But at that point, it was like midnight. It's like, I'm not calling a doctor.
I took some Viagra out of my boy's backpack, and this shit won't go away.
Oh my God, it wouldn't go away. I remember like being under a blanket and the blanket is like standing up and shit. And this is way after the passion is gone and we did all the fucking we ever had to do. And it's just there. I couldn't imagine it. Oh man, like just never take a Viagra. That's all I'm saying. You might not be able to see.
Did you take this Viagra at like the sketchy time to take Viagra where it was like only a few people had taken it that you knew and you were like, fuck it?
No, I don't think so. I wasn't like I don't think I was
early
like,
adopter.
Yeah, no, the beta was already over.
Oh, yeah, because I remember that shit was a little sketch. There was a time where it was like a super underground type thing, right? And then it just suddenly hit mainstream, and then it was like, all right, well, everybody's doing it, cool. Like, I guess it's an option now.
It became a designer drug in some cases because people were just like, I'm gonna take some Viagra and do some cocaine and have a good night. You know, they go out like that.
They still do it.
That's wild. Yeah. That sounds like nothing but trouble, dude.
For real, man. If you get into a fight, your ass is done. They're gonna punch you right in the
Look at this weirdo. He's got a fucking boner, and I'm fighting this dude, and his dick is hard.
It's gonna make that door stopper sound effect, like when you...
Oh, dude. But it's like so hard. You feel the weight of it, and you can feel it in the bass. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was way too much going on.
I feel bad for Sarv because you busted 3 times and it's still there.
It just didn't go away.
It's like, damn, dude. Like, I could feel. I'm aware of everything.
Yeah,
surrounding it. You know, like everything feels like pins and needles.
Yeah, and I'm saying is like, I'm pretty thankful that the way that the dick operates normally, it's like, oh, I'm horny, it's time to fuck, and then you just do that, and then it goes away. Imagine if it just never went away. That I was afraid like that was like a permanent status effect. I was like, dude, is it ever gonna go away? Like, I mean, think 6 hours of a rigid ass boner, bro.
Yeah,
some fucking roguelike ass Viagra.
Oh man.
Oh man, I can see somebody like beating the wall in frustration, like, fuck man, it's a fucking boner. And you can't even really lean against the wall because your fucking dick's poking out.
Well, yeah, exactly. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, I got work tomorrow. Like, and I was cooking at the time. I'm like, is the apron even gonna work? Like, what the
fuck? Tie that shit down.
Just tie it down.
Oh shit.
Do something with it, yeah.
We're about to get creative. I'm gonna have to learn how to live with this fucking ailment.
That's what I was thinking by hour 6. I mean, hell, I was thinking that by hour 3. Yeah.
Damn.
No, all in, it lasted about 7 hours. And when it went down, I was like, I felt so much relief. I was like, oh God, finally I am myself again.
Well, at least we know in the interrogation room, Sarv's going to be the last one to tap out. He held it down. Sarv's going to hold it down. I don't know about all y'all, but Sarv's good.
That Viagra. He's like, no, dude, come on.
So this dude tries pretty much everything domestically. He goes to San Francisco, does all this weird shit, drops by a place where they all fucking masturbate together.
Oh shit!
Yeah, a masturbate-a-thon. Remember? They did it for charity.
So I know the place that happened, man. And I was like, I thought that was just like where they filmed like, you know, kink.com shit, right? I thought they just there was a sound studio, but apparently they're running like, you know, members only parties there. They showed those photos and I was like, damn, dude.
Oh yeah, that was, oh my God.
Shit's wild as fuck. But San Francisco, they got shit like that all over the place, man.
Yeah, man, but they really wanted to highlight that shit.
Dude, those are some nice photos.
So
really
he goes to
the energy.
He goes to places like that, and then eventually at some point he goes to a sex shop where he meets a pretty important person for this documentary. But again, this guy always being borderline sketch. He always does something pretty fucking sketchy. And I honestly don't think this documentary would have gone over well if it came out today.
That's what I was going to talk about when we're discussing the mechanics of how they were filming it. I'm pretty sure because of this scene and a couple other ones that happened, it would be considered not okay to show in major theaters or even like at all, probably, because
it was a little scummy, dude. Like,
it definitely was. Yeah, there's a lot of the scenarios and just the way they filmed it, that shit wouldn't fly today. And it wasn't even that long ago. Like, this movie came out in what, 2013 or something?
28? Was it 2013?
13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, which doesn't say when it was filmed though, so whatever. Let's just say 13. But yeah, he was doing some pretty questionable shit. Like, he goes into the sex shop and he starts recording. And, you know, he's talking to this chick who is pretty much showing him around, like asking him what he wants and kind of like showing him some cock rings and stuff like that.
Those cock rings are too big for him, I can guarantee you. I saw that shit and I was like, nah, you ain't fitting that shit, bro.
Oh, he knew. He was like, I'm not interested. I can't do that shit. He was like, okay.
Various dildos on on poles and like motorized dildos. I remember there was a scene where he's attacking the camera with a dildo.
Oh yeah, the freaking like the machine gun.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I want to know how old this dude was, because I kept thinking like this guy, he must have graduated high school like 2 years prior or some shit like that.
It seems like the hangups he have are based on lack of knowledge, but also general lack of experience in the world. You
He
know,
seemed really immature. you know?
yeah, I completely agree. Like
Well,
there's
let's,
go ahead.
I was
No,
gonna say
no.
we can put together what we know about him from the movies so far. It's like grew up in a small rural town in Washington,
Mhm.
moved
Lack
out
of
to
access to traditional
basically, right?
pornography. Yeah,
Most likely moves out to LA where he wants to be a comedian. So you would assume he gets a little exposed to things as far as entertainment industry goes. But considering when we think this film was made, probably not a lot of self-exploration assistance going on there. Everybody's just fucking and not talking about it, basically, because that's what
Right.
they do out here, right? So he's
Right.
just like diving into this world completely unaware. Like he doesn't even realize he can't bring a camera into these places, really, because he's like, he sits that shit down on the table. He's like, I'm gonna film myself, you know, like he's not even cutty about it.
kind of a
hasn't been-
pumpkin. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that really spoke to like his lack of not even just awareness, but just his lack of understanding of everything.
Yeah, you know, one thing I'll say to that is that in our era, we grew up with a lot of these kind of romantic comedies and like self-exploration movies that I felt pushed the discussion with a lot of people. Like we always had like really open sexual discussions and in matters of love and like relationships and sex. Like I just thought it was normal to talk about that because I grew up watching movies like, you know, a lot of high school kind of movies and stuff where self-discovery and breaking through these walls are like commonplace. So a lot of my peers were all in the same boat. So we just thought it was okay to talk about all this stuff. I feel like this person was very sheltered and
entirely
had a whole new world to explore once that ball got rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's really telling that when he went to that barbecue, all his friends from high school were there. Like everybody.
They call him Paddywhack Pickle Dick. You remember that? They call him Paddywhack Pickle Dick. And he hated that nickname. But I mean, damn, that's a fucked up thing to be called, man.
They call it somebody,
They got him. They got him.
But I'm just saying, like that was like that is just speaks to like the kind of background he had, because like he lived in a place where people don't leave, you know, they just live there and they make their entire lives there. And they even said, like, I think everything he's chasing after has a lot to do with, you know, him feeling inadequate, and that's why he went to LA or some shit like that. And I'm like, damn, dude, they had like a whole, you know, theory on this dude before this even started.
How you gonna go to LA with a small ass dick? Like,
wow, that is crazy.
That's like the worst place to go, right?
you could be an improv comedian, man. I'm pretty sure you'll fit in over there. You're right though, Chris, in that it's really telling that everybody at that party seemed to be socially at least aware of the situation and kind of made fun of it in a way of like making light of it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, whatever, you got a small dick. They all they didn't think it was that big of a deal, even though they joke about it, right? The only one that thought it was a big deal was obviously Ben, whatever the fuck his name is.
I think it's Patty. I think it's Patrick now because they call him Patty. And I'm like,
oh yeah, it is Patrick. It is Pat. You're right.
Okay.
It's Pat. It's Pat.
Yeah,
damn.
That's a good name, dude.
Damn.
Patty Whack Pickle Dick. And he would get mad about that shit. Apparently, he would just like he'd be raw about it.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, his immaturity, his lack of experience. It seems like sexually and socially, he's a bit of a late bloomer. Especially when he goes to the sex shop and he's doing shit. He's doing things at that sex shop that people do who like just got permission to be able to go to places like that. You know,
Right.
like I just turned 18, I can go to a sex shop. Fuck yeah, I don't even know if that's a rule, but I'm just saying.
The freaky world of a sex shop, indeed.
He got introduced to that damn store manager real quick, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because
Like, what is
so
that?
Hey, so this is important. So eventually, yeah, they find out, or she calls them out by seeing like a hidden camera, and the manager does as well. Just like, hold on, what the fuck is this? And then he actually dashes out of the sex shop at that point.
She was like, "Get the fuck out of my store," and I was like, "Oh."
He
yeah,
tried to explain himself like it was such a weak ass. He was like, "Oh, well, no, it's not what it looks like."
Yeah, the camera crew outside the window and everything. She was like, "We ain't
I don't know that guy."
Yeah, he had to scoot the fuck out of there with the quickness.
This had to be Jackass era, man. That's the only way you get away with that shit.
Yeah, definitely. Pre-clout era, you know.
Definitely.
And then I guess around that time, we talked about already his attempts to try to enlarge his penis, at least domestically. And, talking to all these people. He talked to the pediatrician, the urologist. Eventually, Pat takes a trip outside of the country, which to me, when I first watched this, was like, okay, that's where it would have stopped for me. I'm definitely not leaving the fucking country to try to find out if I could get a bigger dick.
On a penis knowledge mission, like that's wild.
Yeah. Like seeking enlightenment levels.
Yeah.
Where did he go? He went to
what was the first location he went to? It reminded me of the street. I think. So Malaysia. It reminds me of the Street Fighter stages where it's like dude. Japan. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Trying to find out what Blanca's got to tell me about my penis.
Exactly. The freaky world of Blanca dicks and shit. Like, what the hell, dude? And
so he hits up Malaysia.
Yeah.
And then he gets a little bit of information there. Then he heads over to Korea, which, I didn't know Korea was down like that, with dicks. Like,
right.
I had never heard of any of that shit. No one ever talks about like the devotion to dick that Korea is on. They got statues of that shit all over the place.
And also here, since we're putting it all on the table, I'm half Korean. I got so ethered when they dropped the knowledge facts that Koreans have the smallest dicks on average. Bro.
Hey, but how fucked up was it though? Because this part of the documentary also made me feel like
I'm only half Korean, by the way.
Oh, we're good, bro. We already discussed. We can't relate to this guy.
Trust me, let's see what's up.
But they had a whole penis park.
So this dude goes to Korea, and the thing that he says is like, well, statistically, Korea has the smallest dicks in the world. So I'm about to go there to go make myself feel better. I was like, you're a dick. You're a fucking asshole. Fuck this guy.
Dude.
He tried to take it. Yeah.
That's probably an old ass game like that people be doing when I'm gonna go to like some Asian country because like I ain't really
just flat
here hard in Asia, right? Like, come on,
I'm short here in California, but if I go out to fucking Korea, I'm tall. Fuck
literally big in Japan,
Yeah.
What a shitty dude. But
how about this though? So he went to Korea and he gave a talk for those university students, and they was laughing at him.
Yeah, they were like, I can't believe he's bringing this shit up, bro. Like,
like, man, we got so much other shit to worry about right now. Like, do you know who our neighbors are?
Yeah.
I'm worried about my dick. I'm worried about that dick to the north.
And I'm gonna tell you this too. So there's a scene when he's in Korea to where he tries to again with the hidden camera. He gets his ass beat in a bathhouse.
Oh, that was just
yeah.
They was like, hey, no, they just fucking tried to dude. I was like, oh fuck, it's over, man.
See, how did he think that was okay? There's no fucking way that you think you could film dudes naked is being okay. Like his character as a person keeps taking a massive fucking dive, and this is where you start understanding. You know what, man? I don't think this is about your penis. I think you just suck.
Yeah. You know what? Because after a certain while, like the gas tank of being insecure runs out, and then you're just doing weird shit. And that's what it was. Like, dude, you don't bring a camera into a bathhouse. You remember when he goes underwater and shit? Like they throw him in the bathtub.
You got a fucking swirly, bro.
Fucking Guilo shit.
My man was looking like Death Stranding and shit, dude.
Oh shit!
They did him like that.
They fucking did some cinematography on that shot.
Yeah, they really did. But
he had
then
to bounce out of the country after that. He was like, "Fuck this place," and I'm going to Taiwan.
yeah, he went to Taiwan, or he went to, was it Taiwan or Thailand?
No,
One of
it
the two, but-
was Taiwan. Okay, because that's where he got all the holistic medicine shit that he was trying to do.
Yeah, rooster testicles and fucking like,
Yeah,
what else was there? Like
that's where the
deer
dick
penis
lifting
liquor.
happened.
That
Yeah.
turtle dick liquor or some shit like that.
Dude, who is drinking dick liquor? Like, God.
Bro, he took a swing at that shit. He was like, "Oh God!" And then like the freaking caption like appears to where he's looking. I'm like, dude, that's about to be meme worthy, like immediately.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. So for those uninitiated into this journey, like, yeah, he goes to Thailand and they have all like these penises and like testicles in jars. And there's like a ladle and they scoop in shots. So this dude is drinking like this super mystical like rooster testicles and he's like eating them and stuff.
The
Like,
elixir.
what the fuck, dude?
Oh man. And this is like old tech because there's been movies in America that include these elements in them. Like that movie Sprung with Tommy Davidson and Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you with that tiger penis, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like that shit is wild as fuck.
Yeah, that's the in Taiwan is the same location where he meets these fucking Sifu for lifting weights with his dick.
Master 2 learned the ancient method of penis weight hanging through his father's teachings. By lifting weights with your penis, you increase your body's natural energy and penis length.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Let's talk about that.
That's just wild.
So yeah, go.
So prefacing this, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the videos on the internet of like the guys getting kicked in the junk to like, you know, show that they can just take it and like several times lifting that shit with their dick, lifting bricks with their dick and shit. So that's what's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
Like he went to a dojo.
There's like a penis master. Like there's like it looks like a dojo, but this ain't your regular dojo, bro. Like,
Nah, man. It was like he was like we practice qigong, and he's like doing like the fucking qigong exercises. And I was like, you know, maybe you should just do that and go home, and you'll be happier with yourself, you know, to learn some tai chi or something, right?
Dude, he even breaks it down like, bro, this is generational knowledge that we've acquired over years and years from our ancestors, lifting weights with our dicks.
and there's all this like tapestry imagery, like of scrolls and shit of people lifting shit with their dick. Like
the shit's impressive, sure, but it's basically like extreme joking.
yeah, it is extreme joking.
They paint it the same way.
I'd imagine it. Yeah.
Olympic
You rip the
jelking,
muscles
bro.
in your dick and you feel like-
Fucking Olympic jelking. They're trying to break records over there.
Oh man! So they attach a 5 pound weight
To
I
hit.
And
think?
you get a 5 pounder, yeah.
To hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like a spotter. There's like the masters there, and you know they make this little demonstration of someone just getting punched in the junk, and it's like he's just taking it, and he's old as fuck too. That dude was like super old. He's just like my dick can take this, you
That
know.
shit's
So they
more anyway.
yeah, and they tie a weight to his dick, and the look on that person's face at the time is a mix between this hurts, but also say hello to the new me. You know?
Yeah, dude.
Be reborn.
It's so funny because when he actually does the dick lift and he's like they're guiding him through it and he does it or whatever, he finishes the workout.
Yeah.
They're like, so like, you know, how do you feel? Do you feel like light? Do you feel? He was like, well, I feel sweaty and I guess I feel like a little light. And they're like, that's it, bro. That's the cheat. They just
yeah,
achieved
that's
it.
the she talking to you, bro.
And then they have that other dude just like for no reason. They got that one dude flex on. What was it like? He said he had 200 pounds on that shit.
No, I wrote it down as 300. Dude, he lifted 350 pounds with this dick, bro.
Dude, that dude lifted me with his dick.
He had perfect form, by the way. Perfect fucking form.
Yeah, he did. And if you remember,
Oh god.
all the weights and everything, so they set up these bricks so that each leg is on a different like stack of bricks.
Yeah.
Only so that the dick could accommodate all the weight under him. And when I saw all those weights go up, I was like, holy fuck, this dude probably got the longest dick. And then they showed his tortured ass looking penis, dude. And it's man small, cuz.
He's like, I've been doing this for years. And you know what? That dude gave up on growing his dick a long time ago. He's just satisfied by how much he can lift with that shit at this point.
Yeah. Who wouldn't be, though, at that point? Because that's a lot. Dude, 350 pounds. I made sure to write down how much it was, too, because I was like, wow, dude, that's a lot.
So when Patrick's looking at that shit, you know he's getting a flashback to that doctor lady telling him, like, you might experience a rebound effect.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man. So, I also think about when he was on his whole penis growing routine, all sorts of damage that he might have been causing to his fucking dick, man. Like,
while weight hanging seemed promising, that guy's junk didn't look too great. And mine kind of feels like a pair of old shoelaces.
It's
Pills.
taking a beating for sure.
Dude, pills, and then went to China lifting weights and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The penis is a really sensitive kind of organ. Like, what the fuck, man? What
like it's gonna tell you when that shit is not, because everything hurts it basically, and it'll tell you when you are not supposed to be doing something to it by causing you pain.
Yeah,
and and that was a constant theme in this movie, where they were just like, basically, no pain, no gain. We gotta fuck your dick up if you want it to get bigger.
Yeah, can I say, do not torture the penis?
That was the only way, and he still went for it.
He went all the way.
You know what's a common thing that pretty much everywhere that he went, people kept telling him? It was that pretty much porn and shit like that has changed people's minds, right? Like at a lot of countries that he went to, it was like, yeah, you know, our girlfriends are telling us that we need bigger dicks or whatever because they saw bigger dicks, and they're like, well, if you can have one, why not fucking get one? Like, it's a fucking item you can buy at a store.
Right.
Why not? But he was also being told something by, I think, mostly the older generations. And the lady in Korea really laid it out in a beautiful way, where she was like, you just got, and the gist of it was, you got to find someone who is going to love every part of you.
Yeah.
And regardless of the imperfections, you know, or if you even consider that an imperfection, they consider that part of the package.
Yeah.
And I think that really hit him hard, but he was already like committed to doing this movie, but it probably could have ended right there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, because that woman really put it in a way that I think hit him in the heart, but he also wasn't trying to hear it on a lot of levels because everything was in motion. You know what I mean?
And he was still thinking about being dumped by his ex in front of the ballpark. So he's like, well, that ain't going to happen. I ain't going to find nobody because I thought I found the one and she said I had a small dick. So let's keep going, guys.
Yeah, I got that extra 1/8 of an inch from joking. So good. What you really want to do. Yeah.
He only notices
really
because he stares at his dick.
Let me tell you about joking.
You know what else happens a lot in this movie is he, according to him, drops a lot of facts on like penis info or whatever, and he's convinced himself, because he literally says this around that time where he meets that lady, where he's like, well, obviously it's nature, it's in women's nature to want to be with a man with a larger penis, so the only way I'm going to solve this problem is if I have a larger penis, which is super fucking telling about how he's approaching his problem, where it's like, we all know here that is 100% not fucking true. Like,
yeah, I definitely agree.
It's a crazy fucking thought to think that you're in a relationship with a person and what, she just sees a bigger dick and you're done for? It's fucking stupid.
But remember, though, he's coming from a sheltered background, and his first trip out was to live in LA, where they probably told him, you need a big dick to live here, you know? So, like,
it's a requirement.
Yeah, he's just literally just getting exposed to all these new ideas, and he's got to be like at least 28.
No, there's no way. There's no way he's fucking 28.
In my mind, I feel like this person is probably like 23 or something.
He looks
mid-20s at the most.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and I think this is important for us to talk about this too, is that, like, I only think this whole big penis fucking thing or penis size stuff really matters when you legit are just putting it out there where all you're doing is trying to fuck. You're eventually gonna find people that are like, this is whack. You have a small penis, right?
Right.
Like if all you're pursuing is just being a hoe, like a male fucking hoe, it's gonna happen because the people that you end up hooking up with in those scenarios often will judge you because it's very physical. Those encounters are super physical. It's not emotional. It's not how much you like this person. It's a one night stand type situation, and yeah, they're gonna judge you on your physical appearance and your penis size. That's common, right? And the thing is that they eventually explain that to him in a bunch of different ways. Of like, well, what was that? Dan Savage. He eventually ends up talking to. Basically, tell him that shit too. Him and a bunch of other people tell him in different ways, where it's like, well, then you don't fuck somebody that cares about dick size, and it's like, but he thinks everybody cares is the problem, you know?
Bro, he went to that porn convention, and Ron Jeremy told him, like, you want a tongue, man. That's what you need.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point. Okay, regardless of your penis size, eat pussy. Get into it.
Exactly.
You know, unless something is seriously wrong down there, just get the fuck in there and be somebody. Don't be afraid to be somebody because there's so much more to sex than just like your penis. You know what I mean? Like there's this whole world that you can get into and you can be good at it, but you have to try. You know, like I mean, I really don't feel that it comes down to penis size that much, but also I'm not in the category to where it has really been too much of an issue, and I know I'm not packing. All I'm saying is eat pussy, bro. If there's one thing you could take away from this, eat pussy.
I was
gonna get into it. No, and really get into it.
I was gonna say you actually raised a really good point when you said you got to try, because there's a scene later on in the movie where his mom's just recounting all the things that he just didn't follow through on, like, you know, basketball. You know, the SATs, you know, the dude walks out of everything and he's about, well, I don't want to spoil the part that is happening at because we'll probably get to it, but like he basically was about to walk out on something else. Right. I'm thinking like, you know, he got all that information from these people throughout his journey. He got all these, you know, real, like the real answers, not like you need a big dick because I want a big dick answer. He got like, you need to find love. You need to find somebody that can, you know, accept you for who you are and love that about you.
Yeah.
And a good tongue, you know, and he was like, nah, I that sounds like hard work. I just want a big dick.
Yeah. He constantly counts himself out. But it's like if you give it all you got in the bedroom, or if you give some of what you got or most of what you got, that puts you way above most people, I feel. You know what I mean?
And yeah, you know how many girls tell me, like, I've been with a dude and he didn't do shit. Like, he just basically railed me for 30 minutes and that was it. And that was like, it was not enjoyable for me. And I was like, well,
no one's into that. Yeah.
Nah.
Like, sex is so much more than just like the act of fucking. You know what I mean? And I think that people's brains have been turned completely around by watching pornography. It's like, I compare that to like when you watch movies, like action movies and stuff. You know, that's some stuntman type shit.
Glass
bro.
breaks, nobody gets cut.
Yeah, exactly. That's some stuntman shit. You know, sex to me is like completely removed from what pornography is. Pornography is just like, you know, things that look good might not feel good. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you right now, like, I to give people advice who are on the lower spectrum, eat pussy.
Low normal.
Yeah, low normal. How low? How low normal? But it's like, learn how to go down, learn all these other aspects of sex. But ultimately, sex is, I think why it's such a sensitive subject is because there is a physical exposure and emotional exposure that you go through when you're doing these things. And it is very mental. It is all these other things. So the fact of like how much a girl likes you or how much somebody likes you or how much they enjoy your company, all that shit fucking matters into how to make it better, right?
Yeah.
Who you are in general. Like if it's like, oh, the fantasy of whatever the fuck it is. Like for instance, here's a good example, Chris. If some girl has just been fantasizing about fucking your brains out, and then you give her that dude that she's been fantasizing about, where you just give it to her, you know, well then you successful. You just blew this girl's mind. But
Yeah.
let's just say that you just pussyfooted around the whole situation and you're kind of weenie about it and you're like, I don't know, I don't really want to try wild shit. And she was just so disappointed. You know?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your dick. Literally nothing. It
doesn't. Yeah. I feel like it completely doesn't, because like when you're having sex with somebody and you know that it's good sex, like you're operating on levels that are way beyond just like the one for one.
Yeah.
That comes out of like the physical aspects as well. You know what I mean? It's the way you touch someone's shoulder, the way you grab a titty, the way you grab a leg, the way you grab the butt cheeks.
Hell yeah. Break it down.
There's so many fucking things that you can do to contribute to that situation. But the worst thing you could do that I picture in my mind, like the way that this person mind state is, it's like, I have a small dick, therefore I cannot do anything.
Like everything. Like he might as well not have like arms and legs at that point. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not, I don't really feel like it's about that. You know what I mean?
You know what else I suspect about this guy? Is that he's only had sex drunk.
That's probably the truth, though, is like he's trying to tear down these walls that he has all built up, and only liquor or like, you know what I mean, can take him away from that to where he's willing to go there. And that only makes it worse, I feel. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you don't remember what the hell you did, or you just like you just got it over with and it meant nothing to you. And then you have such a and then you have such a bad relationship with the act of sex where you're just like it's like you don't even like, because I never really got the idea from him that he was trying to fuck anybody in the movie. Like, you know,
likewise. You know? Well put.
Like he was just kind of out there like trying to figure out how to solve his own problem, and he never really put it out there like, well, maybe I'm good at this, or maybe I can make up for it with this, you know, with other acts, you know, like I said, he just had no follow through. And I feel like he just had just either no relationship with sex or just such a bad one that his small penis just literally made it worse for his ex-girlfriend. And I think that's why she dumped him, because she was like, not only do you have a small dick, but you're really bad at sex.
Right. I'm guessing you can have the smallest dick, but if you can satisfy someone in enough, like the Korean woman, you know what I'm saying? Like the stuff she was saying is like, you can do the best job that you can. And I felt this person never tried on that level. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all remember, he went to New York City and he talked with the dude that had the biggest dick like in the world, right?
Joe, is yours like the biggest?
As far as I know, I was measured on camera 13.5.
How has having a penis that large changed your life?
Well, I was 8 inches when I was 10, so it's sort of like normalcy for me, you know?
Right.
The only thing that changes is people's reaction to me, you know? So it makes sex easier. It doesn't make relationships easier. You know, I've had relationships, but none of them have really lasted more than, say, 8 months.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part? And the dude with the biggest dick in the world he still never had a relationship that lasted longer than 8 months.
Because he's probably just like, I don't even like, it's like one of those things where like, people know I have a big dick, so
dude,
how do I even
stop adding me? Yeah.
and yet he gave some pretty sage advice though.
He really did though, because I mean, look, someone like it was the exact person he wanted to talk to. Yeah. And then to find out that someone on the opposite end of the spectrum, he's like, I got the biggest dick literally in the world type shit. And
he's
I can't find love. Yeah, he was so lonely, and that made me sad too.
That was really sad.
He basically said this. He was like, okay, let's just say that I gave you my penis. What's gonna change about that? Well,
exactly.
How is that gonna change your life? He's like, you're just gonna have a big dick. He's like, you're
and
just
you
gonna
be you.
You with the big dick. He's like, there's no difference. And it's like, and he had to break it down from like how sad he was and his failings in relationships. That it's like, hey man, you just got to find somebody that really cares about you. And then all those things aren't going to matter as much, you know?
Again, it rises again, you know, like find someone who will appreciate all your finer points and find ways to love the points that you don't love so much, you know? And maybe that'll make you understand, like, hey, it doesn't matter if I have a small dick. I got like this really great person that makes me feel like I can do anything, you know? And that's worth more than all the dicks in the world, basically, you know?
It really is.
I think it just comes
worth
down
more
to
than a bag of dicks.
By the way, that dude definitely had a strut. Like when they were walking, that dude definitely had a fucking strut. Like, yeah, I got a big.
He was like, well, at least I got the confidence in this shit. I gotta make it work somehow.
Right. Yeah, but the big dick dude's loneliness really like it hit to the core. I was like, man. So as a male,
yeah,
here is this person that, you know, society and like media, like, oh man, this dude got the biggest dick, and this dude was fucking actually pretty lonely, dude.
Yeah,
it's like the anime trope where you have that guy who's like, I became the best fighter in the world. I killed all my enemies, and now I have no one left to fight.
Yeah, there's nothing left, man, and that's it, you know. Also, I've seen animes like that before too.
Yeah. I'm reading the manga like that right now, actually.
Well, at some point in the movie, after he does all that holistic shit, tugs on his dicks with weights, and basically beats his dick to shit, he goes to one other location. I think it's called Papua New Guinea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he goes to like an indigenous tribe to try to get some advice or a witch doctor to help his dick grow.
Right.
They probably have the same.
I cannot understate like this person's journey. Like this is not one location, two locations. Like he's on a world tour on dick knowledge. You know what I mean? Dick knowledge.
And Sisterhood of the Traveling Dick, man.
Do you guys remember if him visiting the penis doctor, the one that does the surgery, was before he went to Papua New Guinea or after?
Are you talking about the Korean one?
Yeah, the one basically the last one he went to.
So that came later because when he went to Papua New Guinea, he went to the witch doctor, which I'll say right now, they had easily the safest method for increasing your penis size because they're like, well, we're not gonna fucking put shit in your dick. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would anybody do that?
But then they find the dude that will, and it gets mad sketch.
That motherfucker was just like the crack dealer, man.
There's
the injection guy? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's a part where this dude's like, hey, is it safe? And he's like, fuck yeah, it's safe. I'm like, this motherfucker say, it's FDA approved, dog. It's fucking good.
He said he shot up like 2,300 people. Not one complaint.
Shit.
Not one complaint.
Not one complaint. Like,
just walk down this alley, bro, and come into this dimly lit hotel looking ass room. Like,
man, all the locals pointed them towards it too. And they was like, yeah, you want to go see this dude, man. He's good.
This the guy.
What and then he told them, like, I'm going to fucking inject your shit 10 times. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, oh, yeah, I had that shit done before. After the first one, piece of cake.
Even had like a tactical, like 25 millimeters here, like 25 millimeters there, and it's like showing all the different angles that he's gonna inject the penis. Man.
I'm gonna hit it here. I'm gonna hit it on the right, and then 10 centimeters right here. We got you, baby.
I know. It's just like, wow.
Like, that's just not even gonna hurt. Like, you know, a day later you're gonna be right as rain. Shit's gonna be humongous. You know.
Do you guys think that dude that was trying to sell him on it was in on that whole fucking scam? Like, yeah, bro.
So I know what you're talking about. Because there's a moment where the camera focuses on him and he's got that look on his face where he's like, oh shit,
yeah. Don't do it. And also, like, they're in that dusty ass Jeep and they're running down the fucking street and they gave like a live testimonial.
Yeah, the fucking dudes in the back there was like, oh yeah, I fell out of a tree and landed on my sack.
Yeah. Yeah, so the doctor repaired his best friend's dick or something, and it's just like, yeah, man, like you fell or something and your nuts split open and, you know, but now look at you. And he's like, yeah. That's shady as fuck.
Dude, and they're all looking at this dude, Pat, like, what's the problem, bro? Just let me hit you up with this fucking syringe.
Take the needle, dude.
I'm going to fix you. I'm going to fix you. Yeah. And then also, like, so unrelated to that, when he's in Korea, there's a surgeon.
Yeah.
like a plastic surgeon who has perfected some sort of method.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, they actually show one of the patients, and
yeah, peep my shit out, dog.
yeah, and on top of that, the doctor is like, "No, go ahead, touch it."
Oh my god, dude.
He gets his hand.
That weird moment when he just reaches out and grabs his dick, like, damn.
He's like, what's it feel like? It was real.
It was like, so now you know what's up. Now that I made you grab his dick, you know what's up. You know the shit's
That
real.
motherfucker had 2 methods though. He's like, we can either take fat from your body or somebody else's.
A
Probably
cadaver.
No, a dead body.
Yeah,
dude.
Dead body's fat on your dick, dude.
He's like, I don't recommend that one.
Dude, you're gonna end up like Snake from The Simpsons when he got that hair. Do you remember when he got that hair from somebody that died or something? Or no, when
Oh, he
Homer
died
got
and
the hair.
everybody got his hair turned into a snake.
How you gonna have a fucking like a dick with like a ghost story attached to it?
Oh my god, dude. That's a fucking movie now. I'm telling you, man. Just because of that.
Okay, so can we talk about the fact that he even bitched out at that point to where
well, yeah,
the surgery is proven, and he's just, do you want a big dick or not, bro? I guess.
Yeah.
I think not only at that point, but in Papua New Guinea, he was starting to confront like just how serious he was about it, though, because like he was definitely like pretty, like he let the needle touch it. He definitely let the needle touch that shit, and he was like, "Oh, hold on a second," you know,
right?
And he had that moment of clarity where he was like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck have I been doing for the last couple of months?"
I think his cameraman even tells him like, "Bro, are you sure? Like, dude, what are we doing here?"
Yeah. Eventually it gets, do you remember there's a part in the movie where it gets too real and he wants out. He tries to hit eject on the whole situation. But what he does also is he's walking down the street and yelling at his cameraman in front of other people who are trying to enjoy lunch or something. And he's like, listen, this is all bullshit, you know. I'm just gonna run around and I'm tired of being like the small dick motherfucker who's making a documentary. And you see everyone's lunch ruined. Like there's a look on a woman's face who's just like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh my god, that shit was all funny.
He says he's like, what woman's gonna want to fuck me after this fucking documentary?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, you're right.
Yeah. There's always an unwilling witness to somebody's meltdown, but rarely on that kind of level. It's just like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's definitely like top 10 for like the what the hell am I involved in? Like, and there's cameras everywhere. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know?
Yeah. And then maybe even years later, like they might be eating lunch again and be like, there goes that small dick dude that was mad. It's the little dick motherfucker.
I think at that point he just realized, like, not only how the situation is not going to get better for him, but how he's actually making it worse by making the documentary. And he's like, dude, like, because remember,
But I do feel it's super brave that he did.
Is it though? Because I feel like since he's a comedian, he thought it was going to be funny, but he didn't know it was going to get real.
Okay, but we're laughing at him.
Oh yeah, no. But I do think he probably was like, if at work, the worst thing that could happen is that
we're laughing at him.
No, not with
that? Yeah, I feel like we're laughing at him.
I don't think he was even laughing at all. He was just like there was a certain point even before Papua New Guinea where he was just kind of like, fuck, I'm starting to get kind of stressed, you know, like. And it's not really about my dick size, but it's kind of about who I am. And I think that's what really made him upset when he got back to America. It wasn't so much that he had a tiny dick and he put it on display for everyone, but he was like, I don't even know who the fuck I am, dude. Like, what have I done with my life? He had like an existential moment.
And that is a really big moment in the movie because ultimately that is his problem. It's that people who have problems like him, they haven't really found themselves yet. You know, they haven't become comfortable in their own skin yet. And that's his biggest issue. It's not that he has a small dick. It's not that all these other external things. It's that, first and foremost, you know how hard it is to hang out with people or be in a relationship with somebody that isn't comfortable in their own skin, that isn't okay with being themselves? it's such a fucking burden, bro, to be with somebody like that, even friends like that.
Yeah, it really is. I've been in situations like that before when people have had their hang-ups,
Yeah.
and it's like hang-ups are understandable, but when they're constantly like when you know that someone's hang-ups do not go away,
Yeah.
and you try and show them something better, it's like, hey, no one's judging you on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't go away. It's like, listen, that's tough to be around. I can't do it personally.
And I think was it Dan Savage, the guy from New York, the radio?
Yeah.
So
Savage,
he actually laid it out for him where he was like, yeah, I was with a guy who I loved a lot, but he could not stop talking about his hang up. And that shit ended up affecting relationship because I got exhausted dealing with that.
Yeah, because that dude had a small dick and just would not stop about it and just wouldn't leave it alone. That's really tough to deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could, and the way he was saying it at the time, I really feel like he would have just been with that person for life.
Probably because everything else about that person was probably great.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's just get over it, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'll be sensitive to the partner. Like it's hard for people to get over things that they feel are wrong with them, especially when they don't have any way out. And I think that's like probably I'm not a doctor, but I think that's probably a symptom of some kind of depression also.
Sure.
Because that shit is just like it'll take over your life, you know?
Yeah.
And people aren't prepared for that. Not everybody's prepared to deal with shit like that. They're ready to have a happy life with the person they love, and that could stand in the way of that. And the person that's dealing with it, or rather the partner who is watching their other partner go through that, has to decide: am I going to stick this out, or is this hopeless and I just have to make a really hard decision? And some people decide to stick with it anyway, and maybe they just learn to live with that person's insecurities. And some people are just like, I don't want to do this to myself anymore because now this is causing me anxiety. This is causing me a form of depression because I feel like an inadequate lover to you because I can't make you feel better. I can't fix you. Makes me feel like shit.
That's definitely well said, because I mean, if you come from a position of love and like caring, you want to feel like you can elevate somebody or maybe like ease them down off of their own anxieties. You know what I mean? And that the more insecure someone is, the more it makes you feel like you're getting pulled into this kind of constant insecurity. You know what I mean? And you want to be a person that can pull someone out of it, but sometimes you hit a moment where it's just like, you know what, that this is never going to change. And that's reasonable because you can do the best you can, but some people just can't shake their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the mature part of this whole thing, right? Because it's you gotta mature to a level where you can be like, okay, I want to be somebody that can be very accepting of another person and stuff like that. But if this issue is something that, I've tried to help you out and we try to come up with some solutions or whatever, but it literally is detrimental to me emotionally, so much that it brings me down to a certain level, well then that's relationship shit. Like, you have to recognize when it's time to go, and if shit like that's not going to change, it's like, man, those kinds of issues that this guy has is one of those things that this might take a long time for this guy to work this shit out on his own. That you literally can't help him. He has to do it himself.
Yeah, that's well said. I definitely got that impression. It's like it's up to the individual to be triumphant, like with their own problems. You know what I mean? Otherwise, everyone else is gonna be dealing with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's okay to speak on insecurities like often if you have them, but also at the same time, people don't want to hear that shit. Real talk.
And I'll tell you too, I definitely don't want to hear that shit when people are giving you legitimate solutions and you don't do shit about it. You could go completely the other way with it. You go the 6-minute abs fucking direction as opposed to the real shit that's going to actually fix you, which is dealing with yourself.
Yeah, it's all about the self, I feel. You know,
I would say even if you want the 6-minute abs, you still got to deal with yourself, because you could get the 6-minute abs and still be an insufferable, self-deprecating dick.
But it's what it represents is more so.
No,
what
totally.
I mean.
I get you. Yeah,
Like,
but
what's the problem with 6-minute abs is what it's advertising to you and what it's taking advantage of the people that it's selling to, right? And that's those types of solutions that this guy is constantly chasing, where it's this quick fix. It's like, oh, well, if I get this, then my life will be happier. I'll be banging all the chicks. And fuck yeah, dude, that's life. Life's that fucking easy.
Well, you can tell that this dude probably thought his life was perfect up until this point, and he's just like not able to deal with the adversity. And I think that, again, goes back to the fact that when he runs up against something that's hard, he just walks out on it because he's just like, screw it, like, I want my life to continue to be as smooth as possible. And up until that point, he was able to do that. All those activities that he quit, those were things that probably did not have a gigantic impact on his life in comparison to what, at least to him, is his dick, People, He says, I'm not going to take the SAT. I'm going to go to LA and become a comedian. I'm not going to become a basketball star. I'm going to go to LA and become a comedian, And then this girl told me you got a small dick and I'm tired of hearing about it.
Damn. And rejected him at the precipice of the relationship.
Yeah, man. I feel like she was sick. She was definitely sick of something.
Yeah. But I think it could also have been, I mean, look, she was real to the extent to be like, you have a small penis, but also I feel like the insecurities that the person had internally is really could have been, if they confronted it in the proper way, that maybe it wouldn't matter as much, because I feel like it could be also, and you have a small dick, instead of just like, you have a small dick. You know what I mean?
I just wonder, I would really like to see an interview with the would-be fiance.
Yeah.
To figure out what's going on there. Because it just kind of felt like she stuck with him for quite some time, at least to the point where she met the family and they got a good impression of her. And
we don't even know how long, though.
We don't know how long, but for whatever reason, she was the one to him. So I would like to know exactly what their life was like prior to that, because it kind of seemed like that was the last straw. Because if they were fine up until that point, and she's like, I can't believe you asked me to marry you in front of all these people with your little ass dick, we're done. Like, that it just feels unrealistic, I mean, she was obviously taking it to that point,
Right.
So I feel like a lot of his issues were more highlighted by this movie than anything, which really came to a head when he had that freak out moment, because he was just like, shit, I don't want to be that little dick guy everybody's laughing. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking comedian.
Yeah, and you're walking down the street by yourself, hollering into the street that you're that little dick guy. Never do that, by the way. Yeah. But ultimatums don't play out well unless you have something good for you going. You know what I mean? I feel that this person could have gone about everything way better, because the more you watch the movie, the more you really realize that this person has such a fucking hang up that it's like it causes so much harm. You know what I mean? People gotta be nicer to themselves, is how I feel about it.
It's probably what a lot of things he has a hang up with, and that girl that well, are we gonna get to that part? But like, that girl tells him, like, there's so many other things going on.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit about your dick?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing with this dude is, and this is why I keep bringing up the fact that he seems really immature or naive or all the above, is that people who are like him like things to be very black and white. There's good, there's bad. This is why this is happening. All I need to do is do X thing and it'll fix my life.
Well said. Yeah.
But we know that is not true. That is not how you solve a lot of the issues. Things are actually very complex, right? You could put all your effort into this one aspect of your life, but then this other piece falls apart. It's a mature thing to understand later in life that, hey man, just because you put all the effort in this thing doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out. That's why you need to take care of yourself mentally and be comfortable with the journey that you're taking in your life to be able to move forward if these things don't work out, and be mature about what direction you're going to take. And this guy is in like that early stage where he's like, well, if you know how when you're young and you think, well, I find the first girl I'm in love with, I'm going to marry her. Like, love is something completely different to young people, right? It's like, I get this feeling, I'm fucking in love, I'm going to marry this girl, we're going to be together forever. And as adults at the age that we're at now, that is fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah, there's way more to it. Yeah, there's
so
way
fucking
more to
ridiculous. And then you look at this guy and his parents, and you could kind of see how he had it pretty easy. He didn't have to really complicate his life, really pondering about like how complex love and relationships can be. You know, his parents seem pretty happy together. His whole family's together. So those aren't really things that he has to really think about. It seems like things just work out, right? And then he goes off to become a man or do whatever, become an adult. And it hits him square in the fucking face so hard with so many things, but everything is exaggerated, right? The whole love thing is exaggerated by him marrying a girl that he had no clue, had no intentions of marrying him. He blames it all on his dick, which is also to me a very immature thing. And then he, instead of really looking in at himself of like, well, what could I have done differently to really maintain this relationship? All he zeroed in on was his dick, which is like in a
That's
relationship.
a mistake, right? That's a mistake.
Yes. And in a relationship, you guys know that it's never one fucking thing. Never.
No, it's not. You have to cover a lot of bases, and you have to do it with love.
Yeah.
And you have to remove the most negative parts of yourself on the amount of faith that there's a better day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Small dick or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to approach it with a medium-sized to large dick mentality.
Yes.
No, it's true, man.
You know what I'm saying? Just do that, and the rest will fall in place. Like, hey, maybe I can cook well. Maybe I give good back massages. You know what I'm saying?
Or in this case, maybe I'm really fucking funny. You know?
Yeah, you know what I mean. And don't stop with that. Like, be a good listener. Eat pussy. If you're into chicks, or like, you know what I mean. Like, really be that person. Like, you have to think way more about what you can contribute than what you don't have. If you feel you don't have, you know.
Said.
It's like we can build something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna get taller, so
yeah,
that's over with.
Yeah, like I'm sure. Go ahead.
I was wondering though, because like when he was doing that little montage of him talking to all his exes, and he was asking them like, "What'd you think of my dick?" And it's like they had that look on their faces, like all of them, like, dude, did you think that was the problem? Like I got a whole word on you, man. Like that one at the door who was all like, "What?"
Yeah.
The fact that you had to come to me and ask me this question says way more about you than this problem with your dick.
And she's like, that's exactly why we didn't work out. It's because of shit like this.
Yeah. And the whole movie is just about that person not being able to let that go. It's like, dude, if you got a small dick, just have a small dick. It's cool.
Yeah.
No one's really tripping.
And then he has that reaction in the parking lot when he meets the girl, his ex at the gym, right? And she obviously doesn't want to talk about the issue, right? She's just like, "What the hell are you doing here? I haven't seen you in years." And then the first thing you ask me when you see me is, "What's up with my dick?"
With the camera crew.
With the camera crew, right? And then in the parking lot upstairs, and he's like, "Well, obviously she's mad."
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Right? Do you want to know the truth?
I mean, yeah, I would like the truth.
Yeah, it could be bigger. 3?
3.
Like a scale 1 to 10? Like
a 3? Come on. All right. Well, she's obviously pissed at me or something.
What? She would have gave me
what the hell?
It's like, damn, dude, like, he was not interested in hearing the truth.
just get confronted by a camera crew just talking about how small is my dick? Like, dude, how small is it? What's up? Like trying to shake somebody down, asking about how small your dick is. Like, that's fucked up, man.
That's really aggressive too. Like a whole fucking
Yeah,
camera
no
crew
one's
coming
into
at
that.
you. Like, what? What's going on? Hey, so what do you think about my dick? It's a 3, bitch. Get out of my fucking face.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. She rated a 3 out of 10, by the way. A 3 out of 10.
We didn't even. That's
You know
what we're
what I mean?
talking about. Like, we didn't even ask to like scale it like that. I just wanted to know what you thought.
Like, wow.
And the thing was, he took that information and didn't have a like, man, I wonder why she's mad at me, or I wonder why she said that. He was just like, well, obviously she's mad at me. That's why she gave me that bullshit,
Oh my
response or
God.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then that shit just kept rolling and rolling until the point where he just couldn't ignore himself anymore.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask a super important question. Imagine you had a super duper small dick,
Mhm.
right? How would you operate in the realm of relationships? You know what I would do? The same shit I've been doing all along, and that's not worrying about none of that.
Fuck
That's
it with
me.
the lights off.
Yeah, you just gotta. I don't know. Like you gotta be who you are, right?
I was gonna say, be rich as fuck.
Yeah, that helps too.
Well, that is apparently a pretty common theme.
Yeah, no one's trying to have sex with Jeff Bezos.
Dude, that's the OS though. You get rich as fuck, bro. Like, you make anything happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not be happy though. That's the issue, right? Like, you as a person need to be able. Like, how can a person with a small penis still move on with their love life and everything else and be happy, right? Which should be the ultimate goal. Because just getting money isn't gonna make you happy. But
that's true.
But you have to pursue certain things that are mutually beneficial, right? So it's like, hey man, you think about it this way. It's like, oh, a girl complained about my small dick. When it's like, but then again, I'm also pretty fat. I'm kind of a loser. I don't really do anything with my life. And, I'm kind of unbearable to be around.
I take my frustrations out on her.
Yeah. How much of that bears on, like, how good our sex life is?
True.
A fuckload. You know what I mean?
True. But I mean, also, like, I do have this advice to give is that you can throw a party with your girlfriend and someone will leave a backpack at your crib with that Viagra and maybe pop one of those, and then you'll see how hard it can get. You know what I'm saying? But you will also see that letdown feeling when it just stays hard. You know what I mean? Like,
I was wondering.
Done gone too far.
Yeah, you tried too hard to fly too close to the sun. You got burned. I was wondering though, man, because like he tried to do so much shit. And what if one of those procedures had worked out, and he still would, he would have did damage to himself if it would.
He would have been the same person, though. I feel
exactly. He would just like, now I got a long dick that doesn't work. And I actually wonder, like, no one really talked about the aftermath of any of those procedures, other than like, oh yeah, your shit will be big. No one said it's going to be usable.
Yeah, that's true too. And also the concept of penis aftermath is cracking.
The aftermath of the penis.
That should have been a constant rotation of thought and throughout the entire movie. Was like, what about the rebound?
Yeah.
It would have been a dope ass documentary if he followed through with the procedure though.
Yeah, no, and he should have, to be honest. In for a penny, in for a pound. You know what I mean? So now, how about this? I feel like if I woke up one morning and my dick was fucking just gigantic, dude.
Yeah.
I would probably I'd be the same person. And then on top of that, I would wonder if the people I slept with were judging me like on a whole different level. You know what I mean? It's like I think we all just want to be loved, right? Like we want to be the people we are and then accepted and not judged on that kind of level. So it's just pretty tough, man.
But I think that is exactly what this movie was about, was that everybody wants to be loved, and he felt like he couldn't be loved unless he had a big dick.
Yeah, and you know that's the saddest fucking part about this movie.
You
Is
know?
that, you know, it's like this person is. I always felt like this person is not giving themselves permission to be the person that they want to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's constantly counting themselves out based on not on the most trivial thing is dick size, but also was willing to accept the journey, like literally a worldwide journey on some dick level type shit, you know. But still, I feel that they're coming away and will never ditch those kind of hang-ups. It's like just get rid of those kind of hang-ups, you know. Is that too much to ask? Like it's okay to be kind to yourself,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
And I
to
go
come
ahead.
around like full circle to like everything that's happened in this movie, um, it kind of starts to come full circle when they talk to that guy again, with the big ass dick, where he pretty much says like, well, I don't even know if people really want me for me or if they just fetishize me because of my big dick, right?
Yeah,
And he talks about that, and then he says it's the same advice that anybody in the movie that's been giving him the whole time is as like, dude, find somebody that cares about you for you, and then that's it. It's really not that big of a deal. And then to come full circle, we eventually get after like he bitches out on the surgery. He comes back, has that breakdown, and it eventually hits up that girl that he met at the sex shop, and it has a date with her, basically, like a nice, cute little date. And he
Brings the hidden camera.
yeah, still with the fucking
yeah,
camera.
that's weird too. Like, what the fuck is up with you and that camera, bro?
And she
Go on a
calls him
date.
on it, like,
Yeah,
but she calls him on
Just
everything
go on a
else
date.
too, which is like
Yeah.
a really enlightening moment that from somebody you wouldn't expect, right? Also, this girl made me very suspect of this documentary being real, because this girl was pretty attractive and very level-headed at the same time, and she gave some really great insight at the end of the movie where she's like, bro, like, we're having a good time. Why are you asking me if I'm having a good time? Like, you know how, like, when you go out with people and they're constantly analyzing every fucking moment of the day?
yeah. No one likes that. That's what I'm saying. Is like that's his whole thing.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, this girl points out his biggest flaws, and it's like, dude, live in the moment. We're having a good time. Let's have this fucking good time. I'm still having it. I'll let you know at the end of the day, but I'm having it, blah, blah, blah. And then she kind of asks him something, or it comes up where it's like, honestly, you're too obsessed with this dick shit. Like, there's more to it than all of that shit, man. Like, you're tripping.
All right, so what about tonight? Did you have a good time tonight?
Yeah.
Is that for real? You did?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm still having the time.
Still having the time?
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
Get back to me after it's over. What about me? What do you think about me? Am I just a weirdo?
It's all about you. It seems like you're awesome. I just feel like you are a little obsessed with this whole thing.
Do I seem obsessed? Is that kind of how I come off? As I hold a camera in your face.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand. Like, there's
I mean,
so much more going on, I feel.
You know?
Yeah, you are literally tripping, and you're ruining the date, and you're spoiling the moment with your little weird shit that you got going on.
Yeah.
It's like the first date, he's like, what do you think of me? It's like, can you imagine that shit? You want to date with somebody?
She says that too. It's all about you. And I was like, damn, she's fucking nailing this dude to a board right now. She's like calling him out on everything. Your fucking cameras, your little dick shit, and how everything is always got to be about you.
It's so not all about your dick. If you guys care, P.S., if this ever makes it, it's not all about your dick. Whatever it is you need needs to happen before I feel like we could even go get a drink without you thinking about it.
Why can't we just have this fucking nice date? You know?
Yeah, and that's what I mean though. Is like just relax. Like I mean, just relax, breathe, motherfucker, breathe. Sit down, be on a date. You know what I mean? Enjoy it, enjoy someone's company, and don't be hung up. Just let someone evaluate you for who you are, and don't really worry too much about your small ass dick, because you know what? A small ass dick is not something you can escape. And
Right.
this dude is trying to be anything else but who he is, and is not really comfortable with it.
It's
And that's a tough way to go, dude.
it's like it's also like just dating in general, and how, let's just say you go on a first date with somebody, and how sometimes people always say like, oh, I'll never go on dates because every date I've ever had is bad. Well, it's because a lot of times when people date, they put so much pressure on themselves to make something out of this situation, right?
Right.
Where it could just be, hey, we have a good time, we bond, it is what it is, dope. If not, hey, it was a date, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But
I feel like there's a manufactured urgency that
yeah,
doesn't need to exist at all. You know,
yeah,
it's
and
like,
that
take someone for what they are and relax.
that always works out. And dude, if I could give anybody any advice, it's like, as soon as you make it a goal to be like, I want X thing out of this like date or whatever, then it's like you're setting yourself up for failure. If it's like, oh, I'm trying to get laid on this date, dude, there's too much disappointment. You shouldn't even be, if you're really dating somebody, you shouldn't even be thinking about that. You should just be thinking about having a good time. And
Right.
I guarantee you, all another person needs, whether it's you're actually on a date with somebody or you're hanging out with a friend, hey man, I just want to feel comfortable in your presence and have a good time. If you can give me
Right.
those two things, almost anything else is possible. You
Yeah.
know?
I can think of only like the smallest percentage of people that need to be impressed or care that much more about the stuff that someone's saying,
Yeah.
versus the majority that's just like, hey, let's just relax, you know.
Yeah.
I just want to sit and talk with you, you know what I mean, and just really get it in, and let's get to know
Oh, spit that game,
each
dog.
other.
Yeah,
You know
spit
what I
that
mean?
game. Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
I've never evaluated like
Uh-huh.
like I've been on all sorts of dates and like
Yeah.
sexual situations and what have you,
Uh-huh.
but really I've never thought to myself like, I'm just gonna judge this person on what they're saying,
Yeah.
and the more they impress me, the more they'll level up. I've never felt that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in the world of dating, I think that there's this expectation that you want to stoke somebody out and like show them the best sides of you. Like that's no fun. No one want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? No one wants to hear that shit. It's just like, just be who you are.
Chill.
You know, put your best face forward. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you got a small dick or something, that's cool too. I mean, I only say that like as an abstract, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
get a Viagra. learn how to be blind. You know what I'm saying?
Or start
Actually, shit, dude. Like, yeah, do this shit blind. And you'll really experience it.
start carrying some toys around or something, you know?
Yeah. I got a okay, imagine someone with a small dick walking around, but say, hey, I don't got a big dick, but I do got a backpack full of toys, man. What's up?
Yeah.
We can have a good time either way.
There's all kinds of things that we can do. And ultimately, he goes on that date, gets some pretty good feedback from that girl, and kind of has a pretty different perspective. And he basically starts saying the same thing that everybody else eventually starts saying. And that's pretty much just like, hey man, if all you're worrying about is your fucking dick, nothing's going to fall into place.
Exactly.
And he somehow ends up with this girl and they're supposedly happy. I don't know. It just kind of ends that way.
Yeah, that seems pretty manufactured though.
Yes,
dude.
it
Like,
does.
They come in with the music and like, you know, they do the camera cuts like they're really hitting it off.
Yeah.
But I feel like that person's hangups will never escape.
No, and it's temporary, right? Because it's like somebody made them feel good about themselves, which is, again, that's temporary fucking growth there. If you're depending on somebody else to bring your mood up or bring you up from the situation that you're in, and I'm sure it can happen for a limited time, but it's kind of like how this is how I perceive like this love thing that a lot of young people will get really attached to, where it's like those feelings go away, man. Like, and it doesn't even matter if it's somebody of the opposite sex or a friend, where it's like when you meet a new friend or a new girlfriend or a new relationship situation, you get excited about it no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's a sexual situation. You get excited. You know, you fucking want to talk to these people more. They're interesting to you. You know, you want to find out more about them, and you guys just fucking hit it off, and you just constantly want to talk. It just ends up being that way. It doesn't matter if it's a sexual situation. And that is the same thing, you know, but that does fade no matter what. It's like after that's over, it's like, well, you know, Gibby's here. I could talk to him, but I don't have a sense of fucking urgency. Like, we gotta talk, bro. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that time has passed. I'm sorry, but but that's the thing about this is like, I see a lot of people get into relationships and they're chasing that feeling, right? Because it makes them feel better, and it can. You know, your fucking endorphins are firing off like crazy, and it feels good. But that is temporary, you know, whether it be with friends or anything that does not have to do directly with building yourself up. It's always temporary. And this guy, whether it be his dick or his hangups about whatever the fuck, about society, him being a failure, I mean, like Chris said, they dug into it with the family a little bit. I kind of wish they would have dug a little deeper because I feel like there's more shit to that. And it would have told a better story. But, you know.
That's not about his dick, though.
That's about family. But you know what? Yeah. The way that his hangups really are, there's a real lore that's going on with, like, the upbringing. Like, the whole dad conversation really was like, this is some dick lore. You know
generations. Yeah, it's like generations.
It's like Phantasy Star 3, you motherfucker.
Oh shit.
But yeah, you know, how about this though? It's like, I feel like this person was just not kind to themselves at all.
Yeah.
And I just wish that they would ease up off the gas when it came to stepping on themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the concept of a penis, right?
Yeah.
The concept of like, okay, the penis could be larger. It could be more girth. It could be this. It could be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this person would not allow their little dick to just operate. Let your little dick operate is basically what I'm saying. If that's what it is. Like whatever it is, like if you can ditch the hang-ups or like do anything to give yourself permission. Just permission to love somebody. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And be a good partner. You know what I mean? You might want to get into cooking. You might want to have some recipes. You might want to work on your back massages. You might want to like work on your pussy eating technique. Just do anything you can to be a good lover.
Be a good listener.
Be a good listener. But most of all, do not introduce insecurities into that shit. Like no one's really got time for that. We got some time for it, right? Yeah. Like I think of people that have been insecure that I've gone out with before, and you know they're going to be the way that they are. But at the end of the day, it's like there is a reason that we're here, and it's like it's okay to join up. It's okay to just let the armor down and just be whoever the fuck you are. You know, like if you care about somebody, it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like you gotta focus on the beauty instead of like all of the weird shit. That's not gonna get anyone anywhere. You know, like Meta, aren't you engaged right now or something?
Yeah, I'm engaged.
Yeah,
happy.
See, see, think of all the little like miniature moments that have happened to lead to that moment. You know what I mean?
So, my experience with my relationship.
I have a 5.5-inch penis, by the way. I measured it for the sake of this discussion. I measured it. I straight up measured it.
I don't think I have a measuring tape around, but I'm sure we'll get the numbers later in post.
But I go for mine. Okay, so
Hell yeah.
tell me how you went for yours, bro.
Well, so this is why I've been giving the advice that I've been giving.
Okay.
So definitely there's a point in time where I felt like I needed to learn about myself in relationships, right?
Masturbation, yes.
Well, I actually do think that's really important.
Yeah.
You guys should definitely jack off more.
Yeah.
Especially
I couldn't possibly.
And no. Well, here's where I'm coming from. Especially if you do start to become somebody that people desire to have sex with, I even think you should jack off more. I'm gonna tell you why. It's a dangerous world out there. Sometimes some of these women or men or whoever you want to hook up with, that it's like, you know what, it's gonna be that one time thing, right? And it's like, in normal situations, you wouldn't hook up with this person because there's a lot of fucking drawbacks of doing this.
Jacking off is like on some Dark Souls type shit.
So in order for you to avoid those sketchy ass situations where you'd probably regret it, if you just post nut clarity, bro, that's why they call it that. It's like, what was I thinking? You know? But anyways, like how I led up to me being in the situation that I am is I had a personal fucking journey, man. Like I had to find myself and be able to be a person that can be in a relationship that lasts. And that's the most important thing to me. Because it's like I've been in relationships before, and especially when I was really young, I was what I think a lot of young men are, where when they're in a relationship, they think that they're in possession of that other person. You know, where it's like, well, this is my girl. This is my woman. So if somebody looks at her, then I might have to fight. I might have to tell them something. Or like you just feel so possessive in especially at a young age because you think that that's what a relationship is. Like we belong to each other. There's songs about this shit. You belong to me. You know what I mean? Like pop culture has taught you to think that way. And people, especially dudes, do that before they're even in a relationship with you. Like, nah, she's mine type shit, you know, amongst friends.
You have all these impressions about what a relationship is and like these influences that teach you to think a certain way. When I was in 3rd grade, I saw that movie My Girl, and I was like, damn, this dude is in love with somebody, and then he got stung by bees. Like, fucked up.
What are they called? The murder wasp or some shit?
Murder
hornets?
Murder hornets. God damn.
Got him. Damn, they had to put him in a little casket too. It's fucked up.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, still listening.
So basically that whole situation, and I only needed it to happen one time. I really looked at myself like, why am I miserable? Because in that relationship, I was miserable. And I had a lot of realizations where it was like, first of all, I don't own this person. This person is not mine. They're their own human being. They think their own way. They have their own likes and dislikes and their own aspirations in life. I cannot change those. They have every right to pursue that type of stuff. And I don't have the right to get in their way, you know, especially at that age when they may not even know themselves at that time. Well, I definitely didn't, but I thought I did, you know. And
we were all fumbling in the dark at that time, you know.
Some people still are, man. Like,
I hate
100%.
to say that, but yeah, it's true.
real.
It's true. It's 100% true.
There's people older than us that think they have it figured out, but they don't. And like me coming from like the African American community, there's like a contingency of us that have this mentality that you got to control your woman, you know?
That's a whole other story, but that's definitely something, like managing another individual.
Right. And I've never been that kind of person, you know, like I've had bad relationships, but I've never been able to be that kind of guy that's like, I have to be in control of somebody else. And that's mostly because I don't think I have that in me. I don't think I have it in me to dictate someone else's life path to the finest degree. I think that I, in fact, feel more excited by somebody who can come to me with a completely different perspective on life and then enrich mine by sharing those ideas with me and vice versa. And that's when I'm the happiest. Like I tell girls all the time, like, if I can learn something from you, then I think that's probably going to be one of the best relationships I've ever been in.
Is that what you really say? If I could learn something from
Yeah, no, I tell girls all the time. Dude. I'm like, dude, like
Hell
if you have nothing to teach me, then what are we doing here? You know,
I've dropped that
like
line.
we can have a
I've
good
dropped
time,
that
but we're
line.
just fuck buddies.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll be real about this. Like, I used to be kind of a scumbag when it came to sexual activity and so on. So we talk about dictating what someone does it and does not. And there was a time in my life I'd be like, "How that dictate?"
Like, what am I supposed to say?
Nice.
I shouldn't have said that, but
nice.
I did.
Nice. You should put
Well,
that
like,
on Twitter.
like you said, people were fumbling around in the dark, and some people got out of it, and some people didn't. And I think a lot of people who didn't end up going in the complete opposite direction of even Patrick, where they're just like, you know what, it'll never be right. So I got to make it right by controlling every aspect of my life, including the people that are coming into my life. They have to be under my control. That way, they'll never get the opportunity to question what I'm insecure about, because I'll have projected such a secure persona upon them,
right,
to the point where it's abusive, that, you know, I will always feel some security in the fact that no one will ever get close to me.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Is like we put up these walls, and like there's this impression that you want to bring to somebody, which is so far removed from the movie that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like I feel like when I watched this documentary, I felt like I've been my entire life completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like I'm really not insecure about my shit. I just know, like, hey, eat pussy, like, be a good lover.
Yeah.
Go to dinner, you know what I mean? Go to a movie. Take her to all the cool scenic spots. You know what I mean? And if that's not good enough, fine.
Also, give a fuck about the person.
Yeah. That helps. That definitely helps.
That's the other thing, is that, like,
love somebody, you know.
People try to go out with people that they don't really care about. It's like that whole idea of, like, I'm not trying to shame anybody on this fact, but I feel like problems eventually come to a head when all you're doing is like, well, I just want to fuck this person and that's it. I don't actually care about your feelings. I'm just gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, there's a time and place for that where that could work out. But ultimately, if you're trying to be of a healthy mind and pursue something that's healthy for you, that's not gonna fucking work, man. That's a dead end. You know.
Yeah.
I even think that people can't help themselves but care about people, but they have to actively try not to, because it's part of the, you know, the culture that's been projected upon them. Like, there's an episode of Atlanta from season 2 where Paperboy goes out with this Instagram girl, right? And it's supposed to be a date, but, like, you know, he's trying to play it cool because, like, that's his whole persona as a rapper. You know, it's like he's like, I don't get really bothered by chicks and shit like that. But she ends up kind of being sort of cool with him, and he's just like, he starts enjoying himself a little bit, and his guard gets let down a little bit. And then she lays it on him where she's like, oh yeah, we would be really good as a power couple on Instagram. And you could just see his face, fuck,
that's fucked up. Yeah.
Like, I thought this was something, you know.
Yeah, you know. And I've thought of this too, though, is like, have you ever found yourself in a relationship that you didn't want to be in because of post-sexual activity, like cuddling and like talk and stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, for me personally, I've had sex with people, and then like you run your fingers through their hair.
Yeah.
And like there's a whole like kind of post-sexual activity process that happens. And I felt like I've given off the wrong signals in moments like that. But also, I don't know what else to do. It's like, you know, it's like you are in that kind of act, and I don't know what else to do but be like that kind of nurturing post-sexual.
You're an affectionate person, right?
Yeah.
Well, you just showed the ultimate affection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know, after the nut, like when the music stops and everything, you know?
Yeah.
That's just weird though, man, because like it's all like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like,
no, but you should get too deep into
it. This is the podcast to do that.
Yeah, let's hear it, bro.
It's like a cultural thing though, right? Because like some people will let you fuck and then be like, don't kiss me. Like in Japan, that shit is, I mean, I've seen it enough happen. And it's happened to me. It's happened to me enough where I'm like,
tell us the tale.
Oh, like, all right. So, all right, so it's not in Japan, but it was with a Japanese girl that was an exchange student at the school I was going to in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Oh man, it would have been a better story. You should have just said it was in Japan.
And also, help out, because it breaks my heart that you lived in St. Cloud for so long, but we never like met in my state, dude.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I went to some conventions out there, but that's about as far as I got in it. I usually just
the amount of white women that I could show you in St. Paul,
bruh.
Anyway.
Well, like it wasn't just that girl. It was like, you know, girls in Japan. It's been in Japanese entertainment media, but basically this girl that I knew in school, she and I would hang out every now and then. She didn't really speak that much English, but like, you know, we knew that we were kind of feeling each other, and she would come. She would come over to the dorm, and then all right. So straight up, she would come to the dorm.
That's the best signifier right there.
She would come to the dorm, and we would sit there and play fucking gear for like hours.
Wow.
And she wasn't good or nothing like that, but I wasn't great. So we just sit there like just bullshit, and we barely talk because we were like, you know, basically teaching each other the language. And then it would be fucking like midnight, right? And the first time this happened, I was like, "Do you need me to walk you?"
Carnival.
Yeah. I can imagine, like, do you need me to walk you back to your dorm? And she was just like, "Oh no, it's really late. I'm gonna just crash here."
Stay here. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's some college shit, baby.
Damn. I definitely know what this means. But then I'm like, all right, well, maybe it means something different in her culture than it does with me. So I'm like, all right, cool. You can just like take the couch, you know, and I'll just be in the room. And then she was like, well, you have a bed, don't you? And I'm like,
this ain't my first rodeo, dog.
Yeah, I do. Shit. So I'm like, you just want to stay in the bed with me? And she's like, yeah, I want to stay in the bed with you. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Boy.
So we did that. And we just start going at it. And like, after it's over, before I know it, I'm like trying to kiss her, right? And she just like puts her hand up and she's like, no. And I'm like, what?
That is weird, man.
Like, did I do something wrong? Was I bad? And she was like, no, I was fine. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, I have a boyfriend. You can't kiss me.
Hell yeah. This girl's a savage.
I was like,
whoa.
Huh? She's like, she basically was like, if you kiss me, that means that I'm really into you like that. And I'm like,
I've heard that before.
We just fucked. And she was like, yeah, but you know, kissing is like way more, you know, affectionate than fucking where I'm from or something.
Are you sure?
I was like,
wow, man. I've never been in that situation.
That
before.
shit fucked me up for a long ass time too, because I was like, damn, dude, like, is that for real? Like, and so like I got back to San Francisco and I wouldn't even kiss girls sometimes. So I'd be like, I don't want to think I like her like that, you know. But then like I started consuming more mature Japanese media where that shit was a thing where like, you know, the lonely wife fucks around with a hot young neighbor and then she won't let him kiss her.
Damn. I really didn't know that was a thing because, dude, I would feel all sorts of like weird shit.
I still think it's a personality thing. I don't think that the whole culture is like that, but that just seemed like some crazy ass like dynamic, you know. It's just like the contrast of sex with kissing feels like it's not even a competition, you know, to me.
You want to hear some wild shit that's along those lines? This girl, this wasn't me, by the way. This is a friend of mine. This girl, she was like a devout Christian, right? And she was hooking up with my friend, but she told him, she was like this. She's like, I'm not going to have sex with you, but you can fuck me in my ass.
Damn.
So there's a lot of weird shit like that. But she said because she's keeping herself fucking a virgin, that, hey, anything else goes. Fucking sucking dick's good. Getting fucked in the ass is good. All that shit. But you getting in this pussy? No.
Don't fuck with the goods, huh?
No. Yeah. And that's like, I don't know, man. I definitely understand how some people can compartmentalize certain aspects of themselves. But yeah, I've seen it before. Like the type of stuff you're talking about where don't kiss. No.
Yeah, I would say more like, who is he?
So this because I've had multiple people I know told me this, that they asked, did you suck his dick?
Oh,
is their
I
go-to?
wouldn't expect that.
Well,
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard people question that before.
It's weird.
I just feel like at a certain point it's all in. Like, who cares what the fuck happened?
What I
Yeah,
think
us
it is-
normal people think that way, but it's like
So what I think it is that person equates a certain act to an exclusive behavior that is only shared between those two. Good example is of, when the girl lets her man go to a strip club with all his buddies, and she's like, "Well, what you gonna do there?" And he says, "Oh, I'm just gonna watch and make sure all the guys get home safe, honey. See you."
Hey.
And she knows he's gonna get a lap dance. She knows, like, if he gets drunk enough, he might go a little too far. But she's just like, make sure you come home and don't do that thing we both do to each other.
Yeah.
There's like that sort of unspoken like expectation that he will not share what is between them with somebody else. And that's why when you see like those divorce court, things where the guy cheated and like and the chick's like super mad, it's because that dude did some shit with the other person that she thought they only did together. And it's not just sex. It's an emotional thing. It's like you gave up this emotional attachment, or what I thought was an emotional attachment, to this person that neither of us really know. Or maybe you know and I don't know.
I would say in a situation like that, I'd be more concerned about like the locations and like the amount of intimacy that they might have shared. Like I've been cheated on maybe twice, I think, in my entire life. And also it was revealed to me. I cared much less about like what the sexual activity was, but more like the level of intimacy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I was like, well, what kind of games did y'all play?
Yo.
What were the locations? Like, what movies did y'all go see?
Did you go to our spot? Did you listen to our song?
Exactly.
Oh,
like,
that's heartbreaking, bro.
Oh,
she showed him the dope shit that you showed her to impress him. Oh, that'd be fucking heartbreaking.
Oh, man. Yeah, see, exactly. I'm way more concerned about that. Like, sexual activity is like, okay, fine, I get that. And also, thankfully, that's only happened twice in my lifetime. Fuck. I'm surprised it didn't happen more. The way that I acted.
I can imagine that, like, even if it's just sex, it can be fixed because people say it didn't mean anything. And
There's only one way to fix it,
Yeah, the only way to fix it though is for like both parties to take a long look at the relationship and see what is worth saving. And usually it's not, because there's going to be a whole tidal wave of things that come from that conversation. But if it actually in the vacuum of it just being sex, I think that can be fixed because there won't be an emotion attached to it. It's just about getting a nut.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know that like there's urges and so on. But yeah, when it comes to all the other shit, that's the stuff that might hurt.
Yeah.
Sex, like someone having sex with someone else doesn't hurt me at all because you know what? I know that I do my job. I try to be the best like boyfriend I can in that kind of situation. And if someone is on one, I never really feel like I have not been the best boyfriend I can. So it's like, okay, so that's more on you than it is on me. Not every time, but like how there's like peaks and valleys when it comes to being a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like there's times you're like, oh shit, I really wasn't listening to you. I was in the middle of like a RPG or something and I was ignoring you. I wasn't being the best boyfriend or something, But when it all shakes down, I've never felt personally that I haven't given the effort. You know what I mean?
I think that's the most important.
Yeah. And and if someone doesn't respond to that kind of output, like if you care about somebody, then
Yeah, man. The thing is like, again, going back to this movie about how this guy has the realization that life isn't all black and white. It's that relationships are just so fucking complicated, man. And when you get older or you have enough experience, you really do start to understand why so many don't work out. And it's like, again, another construct of like when you were younger, you're like, man, if all I could do is just love the fuck out of somebody, all my problems will be solved. Guys, we all know that that's not fucking true.
Yeah.
It's nice to have love in the situation, but how many times have you seen people that you would assume fucking love the shit out of each other, but there's just so many issues that they keep staying in this relationship that is so toxic, but it's like, I love him so much, you know?
And they won't stop. Like that's the thing though, is like you hang on to that initial feeling and you just don't want to let go, but you know it's a bad idea. Like thankfully for me personally, I learned all those lessons the first time around. Like my first girlfriend, I learned every lesson. I hit the lab and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything after that is like, fuck that.
That shit was like the arcade where you had to learn on the job. You had to pay all the tokens and shit. Like, there's no home console for relationships, bro.
Yeah.
That's
really what it is.
And this is sort of an update on our main hero here, but in an example of the fact that you fixing your one hang up will not fix your life because life is fluctuating. There's always a different issue. Apparently, Pat Moot, at least a year ago, went through colon cancer and he survived it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so I'm sure he wasn't worried about his dick during that. He was like, "Shit, my ass is gonna kill me."
Wow. This is like New Game Plus knowledge.
More or less, yeah.
Damn, that's wild. Patty, what the hell did they call him? Patty Wag.
Pickle.
Yeah, man.
Pickle dick.
Like, there's shit that will happen in your life that will make what you thought was the worst moment of your life feel like nothing.
Yeah.
It's always going to keep coming.
They should probably interview him, be like, how much do you care about this documentary? Guarantee you tell you, no, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, he's probably gonna say, well, he's not gonna say he wish he didn't make it. He's probably happy he made it, but I'm just saying, like, he's probably just like, dude, like,
I'm so far from that.
Yeah.
I would hope so. But one experience I have with people's hangups is that they either learn to manage it or it will constantly be a thing. I know people with the same old fucking hangups that they've had their entire life, and they just can't let it go. Not many, but I mean, I think we can. Go ahead.
And to add to what you're saying, not a lot of these people, like you mentioned, have the benefit of having that I'm gonna stick a needle in my dick moment. They don't have that fucking extreme fucking like, oh my god, what am I doing? I'm about to fucking contract some unknown form of disease in my whatever is bothering me.
Oh man, dude. When they showed that fucking like the way that they attacked the dick, it looked like Oki. Every time you inject, the dick just gets knocked down, and now it's a different angle, bro. Now I'm gonna hit you from the top.
He was like, I'm about to hit your dick with the touch of death, bro. He was like, I'm gonna hit it here. Hit all the chakras on your dick.
Oh man, the poor penis. Like, can we respect our penises? But he didn't even go through with it. It's the worst part. Like, why wouldn't the end of the movie be like, I got the injection, and now I got the big dick. But you know what? I'm still sad, bro. And then the saxophone plays.
Oh man.
Like, you can't fix your penis, bro. That's the whole movie. Like, there's nothing, like, I don't know. I've never thought, like, my dick needs more or less. Definitely not less. You know what I mean? I can't afford that. The dick that you have is the dick you should roll with. If my penis was as small as that person considered low normal, I don't think I'd make a movie about it. That's for sure.
Damn.
You know what I would be? I'd probably be 10 times a better artist than I am now.
With a small dick.
Yeah, dude. He'd be like, yeah, that dude's got. I'd be like, yeah,
focus.
so what? I got a small dick, but I can draw my ass off.
You want me to draw you a big dick, motherfucker? I got you.
Shit, this fucking art gives me all the confidence. It was good.
So I want. Do you think that this movie resonates with people? Like, I imagine that it probably touches.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. This movie was very enjoyable to watch because it's about a journey that in maybe sometimes I feel like I would like to explore that, but I've never really thought that way. So it really tripped me out to think like, damn, this dude is on a world tour dick based mission. And it really tripped me out, man. Like locations, dude, Korea went to like Penis Temple. You know what I mean? Like it really tripped me out.
I honestly, so I was telling you guys, like, as to why I chose you guys, and it's because I think you guys interact with a lot of people, and same for me, where I do feel this movie would be very relatable to them, right?
Because they all got small dicks.
No, not necessarily that. it could be whatever hang up it is. It could be like they've never been with a woman, right? I think that's a lot of it.
I still question why you chose me for this podcast.
Well, because like I said, I think you have a lot
Let
of
me
experience.
take it with small dick. Sorry, man.
You confirmed that one within the first 15 minutes.
No, man, it's just that I feel
Why
like
did you bet me for this one?
I feel like you guys have a lot of maturity, and that you guys can look at it from an angle that can actually provide advice, right?
Yeah.
It's like if I had anybody else doing this podcast, it wouldn't work. This is why, because I've wanted to do something like this for quite some time. I mean, me, Gibby, and Chris do this kind of shit late night on twitch.tv every now and then. And I always feel like this will be a nice kind of backdrop of shit to talk about. Specifically, this movie kind of like pulling us in that direction to talk about these like relationship type things, these sexual type things. Because I think, especially in the FGC, there's a lot of people that need to hear this type of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people have that, like.
Well, the FGC has always had like a small dick complex, and we can 100%. Talk about that. Yeah.
100%. And, you know, all that stuff gets rolled into like a lot of these people have never had relationships. They've never been with a woman. They don't know the first thing about how to approach relationships in general, you know?
Yeah.
And this whole sex thing is just a very, very, very small aspect of the bigger issue. And it has a lot to do with us as ourselves. Like, how do we treat ourselves? What do we expect from other people? Like, what do we expect from ourselves before we expect anything from somebody else? And that's the type of stuff that I see a lot in the FGC, where it's like, I suspect a lot of these people are younger, or possibly even kind of like how Chris was kind of alluding to, where his perception of Pat, he thinks he's older, right? He thinks he's like in his late 20s.
Right.
Where that could be possible as well. It could be that he went on this journey very late in his life, and he's very immature in certain aspects and very inexperienced. And I feel like that is directly relatable to a lot of the people in the FGC. And you could just see it in the way that they talk about these types of topics. But I want to provide an opportunity with people who have a mature outlook and don't take themselves too seriously, but can also give some type of advice. And you guys and the stuff that you say, Sarv, and the stuff that Gibby says, it's all from actual experience that I think that can really benefit a lot of people. And even though this movie is like kind of like a little comedic type movie, I think it was a good backdrop to talk about these types of things.
Yeah, I highly recommend anyone watch this documentary and just see somebody's personal journey about that kind of measuring up, and just, you know, just like that sort of self journey.
Yeah.
That is something that I feel most people are afraid to take. Like, it's really, I know it's like centered on having a small penis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's a lot of not, like, everyone should make that kind of journey. It's like, okay, if you FGC, right? It's like Ryu walking around, but instead of trying to be good at fighting, it's like, it's trying to be good at mastering having a small penis or something.
It's like another episode. What size is Ryu's penis?
Yeah, like when you beat the game, it's like, dude, it's like DPing in front of a waterfall, except you knew Ryu has a small penis. Whatever the fuck is going on.
This is the way he copes.
Got a small ass dick.
This is the way he copes.
But the journey continues. Like, when Ryu walks into the sunset, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about like the journey of friendship and relationships, but if we're gonna talk about Street Fighter, Ryu never had a chick. Why? Maybe because he was hung up on a small penis.
I mean, it could be, yeah. It could be thinking about that. It's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here before she sees my dick.
Yeah. So what's going on with that big ass laundry bag? That could be the dick that he wish he had.
What if you were to actually?
You only got one pair of clothes, bro.
If you were to actually complain about like, look, guys, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I can't get laid. Nobody likes me. And it's like, Ryu, dog. It's because all
relax.
you fucking yeah, relax. All you fucking talk about is doing a tatsumaki, bro. Like nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. We know you could throw a red fireball, dog. Nobody cares that you mastered the next level.
Love somebody. Yes, love somebody. Just love somebody. Look at Ken.
That's what I'm saying. He's looking at kids like that motherfucker, dude.
That motherfucker. Look how fine Eliza is. God damn it.
And he's only slightly worse than Ryu. It's like, dude, if you're only slightly worse than what you are and you get all that shit, maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah. Like get out of your mind space. You know what I mean? So if there's an essential message that we come off of this movie, documentary, what would it be? If we could distill it into like a sentence. Like for me, I got 2 words for you. Eat pussy, bro. No, 3 words. Eat pussy. That's it. Engage the vagina. They're also 3 words. Do not be afraid.
Mine would be, you have to find your own adequacy. Because that can't be given to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I keep saying, this shit can all be really complicated. There's never one clear answer to your issues in your life,
Well, I just gave it to y'all. Eat pussy.
That's for you though, Sarv. That's for you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it could be part of your equation as well, folks. You roll all this advice into one, you could be the number one dude.
Do not go on a world tour though, on some like dick exploration. Like that still trips me out.
Just save some money and buy some weights and lift them with your dick and be like, I don't want to do this. That's it.
Your dick is not a muscle.
Great.
Also, your dick is not a muscle.
That's
Do
the
not
perfect
abuse that shit. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So we, not surprisingly, actually, have been going for 2+ hours on this movie.
Wow.
And it's funny because when we first started, I feel like we stuck in like the first quarter for like a good hour.
Yeah,
it's just so much to unpack, Yeah. This is a really complicated situation for this person in this documentary, and it's just so many things to break down. And I just want to pretty much like ask you guys a similar question. Is like, if there's one thing that you take away from this movie that you feel that the audience or people that would listen to this podcast would take away, like what would it be? Like what would be a good reason for somebody to watch this from the FGC? And we kind of talked about it already, but like just to tie a knot on this podcast, what do you guys think that would be?
FGC wise, I would feel personally, there is a desire to be more, okay? And you need to confront that, hey, maybe the FGC is not that big of a community, right?
Yeah.
You got to work with what you got. And what you got is really important, like it's solid, and there's a great community behind it. So just really take that small dick of this community and just don't stop. Give it all you got. You know what I mean? Make it special. Make people remember you for the right reasons.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, do not be that person that is, yo, yeah, I'm on esports, but you know, I have this little side moment of esports, and we have this little small thing. Nah, it's a big thing. It's a beautiful thing, and you can romance and just keep outputting positivity and that sexual energy and make it great. You know what I mean? Like, you have a responsibility to make it something that is worth remembering. And I feel like because we come from this position of not necessarily advantage, you know what I mean? But we got something really good going on.
Yeah.
So play the games you like, you know what I mean? Like, all these little small games, consider them as fetishes and magnify that community, you know what I mean? And be great, you know, and don't stop.
Yeah.
Just like let it blossom, and do not be afraid to be an ambassador when it comes to these sort of things. And that's it, really.
All right. Dope.
Chris? I mean, I guess if anything, I would say don't project your insecurities onto other people. Stop comparing yourself to the next player. You know, there's competition, and then there's, you know, the competition in your own head, and don't lose the competition in your head. You lose that. Seek, you know, the answers are already there in you. I would say. I think everybody in the
very
FGC
you-like. Okay.
has the has the ability to do exactly what it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
But much like Patrick, often they stop short because they think that it's not worth pursuing, that they can't do it, and so it'd be better if they just walked away from it. I think people in the FGC need to embrace what is both great and not so great about their niche in the larger community, and
that's the beauty of it.
Try to perfect the best parts and remove the bad parts.
Yeah, I think that's very well put. I would echo those sentiments as well. With in your communities, you have really good people. Do your best to support them and push them forward, because they make everybody else's life that much better. Yours as well. There's a lot of good people out there that are doing good for our community. And for me, I always try to get out of their way, especially if they're doing something better than I am. Well, let me fucking put them ahead of me, you know, because I genuinely care more about the collective moving forward than I do of me just personally, unless I fit somewhere in that equation. But yeah, man, this shit has been super fun and interesting conversation, like I knew it fucking would. You guys have been great guests, and yeah, man, we chopped it up, gave some really good advice, enjoyed a interesting ass movie. Yeah, this episode will be going up. I want it up by next week. I'm trying to do something a little different by including a little bit more video, a little more editing, because I want to try to put some of the movie clips in the review.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, to put a little more context as well, to like see what we're looking at. But yeah, this has been fun. Sarv, thank you for your first time being here. You were phenomenal as expected. You did not
completely happy to be here. Yeah.
Chris, as always, a great guest and a great friend. Thank you for being here.
You guys are both great to talk to, so it was super easy.
This has been a great convo. And you know what? I'm just gonna say, whatever your penis size, just wave it. You know what I'm saying? It's 2020. Just wave it. It's cool. Don't take Viagra.
Your DM's about to fucking explode.
I just got it slapping my tummy right now, bro. In solidarity.
Just wave it.
In solidarity.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I couldn't relate to this movie.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you guys for joining us and spending all this time for us talking about dicks and relationships and sexual encounters and stuff like that. We will catch you on the next one. And everybody have a good night, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
Everyone's
Shout out to Taiwan, respecting the brothers.
Oh, hey, closing confession. My penis bends downwards, and I've been accused of being the Gonzo nose.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're out.
Yeah, I gotta leave you in the gym. Peace.